Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great, it's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's Bo time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's Bo time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's Bo time.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Right now, save 50% off all window styles, plus 0 interest for 5 years. Hurry, sale ends November 30th, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Looking warm for this afternoon, a high of 80 degrees, almost a record high for this election day. We'll see partly cloudy skies. Overnight tonight, it's warm at 60. And then tomorrow, late in the day, we'll see some showers, and that will continue into the day Thursday. But tomorrow's also going to be warm with a high of 82, almost a record.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock, check if your money. Dow Jones is up 327 points to 42,121. Market update brought to you by Zero Res. This holiday season, Zero Res is hosting a food drive. When you get 3 rooms cleaned and donate non-perishable food, they'll clean a 4th room for free. Visit ZeroResRaleigh.com. Again, ZeroResRaleigh.com.
To the left to Cooper Flagg. Low with the dribble, into the paint. Cooper left it down low for Malawach. Goes up with the right hand and scores. What a dish inside for Cooper Flagg.
Now Gregory has it ripped away. O'Connell picks his pocket. Center of the floor, scoops it right. Taylor, Euro step, righty layup, around and down.
R.J. Davis right back to Godot. Well, he's going to pull a 3. Yeah, why not? Let's start it with a triple as Godot knocks it in from the right wing.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan on a Tuesday. I'm Tim Donnelly, producing the show, Dennis Cox, and we had college basketball last night. Real college basketball counted, not that exhibition stuff that you can write off as, that doesn't really count. This stuff counted. It mattered. Just heard some of the highlights from around the Triangle. And you're either going to love this or you're going to hate this because that's how this team works. It was immediately evident why Duke is getting so much hype this year. They are talented. Cooper Flagg, talented. But it's not just Cooper Flagg. The hype is getting aggressive for Duke, and you know there's going to be those of you that hate that. There's going to be those of you that love that. That's just how that team operates. But against Maine, they showed why. It's just a talent thing. It's just a talent thing. Let's start with the freshman, Cooper Flagg, who everybody's going to start with when you talk ACC basketball, Duke basketball, next year's NBA draft. He had 18.7 rebounds, 5 assists with 3 steals, and a poster dunk to let everybody know, hey, I can do this too. A 2-foot jump from well outside the restricted area. Just a little yammer jammer straight down the lane. Here's Cooper Flagg on his feelings of playing in his very first college basketball game.
I think even for me, it was a little more emotional walking out and seeing the Maine across their chest. Obviously, that's a team that I grew up watching when I was young. So, seeing them gave me a lot more emotions, and knowing that it was the first real game. It was definitely a high-emotion game for me, but they would have just taken a shot and handled business.
Ironically, I actually think playing Maine probably gave him a little bit extra confidence. If you believe some of the NBA players that have worked with him from a young age, former NBA players that now run camps and everything, Cooper Flagg's been giving the University of Maine and the players and pickup the business since he was about 14 years old. So going out there now as a 17-year-old and saying, all right, I get to play Maine, a little familiarity there. Maybe it's not exactly rolling out there like he will in a couple of days against Kansas or Kentucky or Arizona. But it wasn't just Cooper Flagg. Con Knipple, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists on a wildly efficient 8 of 14 shooting. Just 3 of 8 from 3, but the confidence with which he stepped into three-point balls, he's going to score a lot. He is going to benefit from the gravitational force that is Cooper Flagg. And Kamen Malawash, the other freshman that played big minutes, 6.6 rebounds, 1 assist, and 3 blocks, and he played just 18 minutes. And if you watched the game, he affected more than the 3 shots that he blocked. He's a legit 7+, like 7'1", 7'2". Springy athlete, which isn't often said about guys that tall, although I don't know, the basketball players are evolving. It's been said about more guys going into the NBA draft in the last few years. The vets did what we expect. Do you know what I liked about Tyrese Proctor? Right, I talk about all this talent, right? And the young guys showed the talent. Tyrese Proctor seemed mad the whole game, and I kind of love that. Going into timeouts, the high fives were like he was rushing through the high fives to get to the like it just was. There's a clip going around of Joe Burrow after he threw his 5th touchdown pass this past weekend, and like no smile, walking to the bench, trying to figure out what happened on that drive. And then there's the clip going around of Joe Burrow in the post-game locker room where Coach rah, 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 he then gives the speech, which was, guys, we play on Thursday. There is no celebrating this one. That's the Tyrese Proctor vibe I got. Like, big dunk, cool. Here's what we need to do on defense. I loved that from the vet. Caleb Foster, I don't think he was quite as stern. He was loving being healthy. Didn't finish last year due to an ankle injury. He was, a couple circus layup attempts and things. He was just, hey, look what I can do. I think that's fine as well. Here's what it is for Duke. And actually, I'm going to use a metaphor from their game last night against Maine, which they won by a bunch. Cooper Flagg cramping, I think, is an excellent metaphor for what Duke's challenge is this year. If you didn't watch Cooper Flagg, oh no, he's hurt. Then he was laughing, and right, he's dealing with cramps, right? We've all been there.
Yeah, first game of the year.
Stretch it out. Give me some pickle juice. There's nothing you can do in that situation other than hydrate and kind of go a whole bunch of times. But the metaphor is Duke, especially as Cooper continues to benefits and continues to expand his game to where it's not just the dunks. It's a little bit of everything. He went 0 for 4 from 3. I don't expect that to happen very often as he expands his game away from the bucket. The electricity, the buzz, the hype, the pump and circumstance is only going to grow. You have to be able to withstand, survive, pace yourself through a fully energized, 5-6 months of attention and basketball. Right? It doesn't matter how great you are if you burn out 3 months from now. If that game were closer and Cooper Flagg couldn't be on the floor for the crucial moments because he's cramping, that would have been an issue. They have to put everything together and then have the stamina to make it to the end of the run, because I believe it's everyone always makes the joke that, we were like the Beatles. I don't think it'll get that crazy. I don't think it'll be Zion levels, but remember that Zion season. Remember they had the Zion cam? He was hurt and on the bench, and they just had a camera pointed at him at all points in time on the bench. That takes stamina to keep up. And by the way, a few times it looked like he may have yawned or nodded off on the bench, and he wasn't playing. I don't know what you want to expect from him. Cooper Flagg talked about trying to impact the game beyond his scoring, which is something he did last night.
It's kind of just something that's always been a part of my game, is just trying to impact it in a lot of different ways, where it's just making the right play, finding an open teammate, rebounding, whatever it is. It's something that our team in general has kind of been priding ourselves on, is kind of outside of the shots, 94% of the game, or only about 6% of the game is really shots, making or missing shots. So just priding ourselves on the 94% of the game that doesn't revolve around shots, so rebounding, playing good defense, playing with energy, that type of thing that we can control.
Do you think that's a real stat, or did John Shire throw that at them as like a made-up number? And,
probably.
And Cooper Flagg took it as truth. 6% of the game is taking shots? How would you even measure that? But I get what he's trying to say, right? Mm-hmm. Scoring isn't everything. You need to impact the game in a bunch of different ways. I went back and looked at last year's opener for Duke because I thought it would be interesting to see what was different. Remember Jared McCain? He's now on the Sixers, first-round pick, lights-out shooter. Last year in their opener, they played Dartmouth, so Dartmouth was their main. He fouled out and played 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the year, he did not foul out ever again, and he never played as few as 15 minutes again. So there are things that will change. That was not the final version of Duke, but what they flashed was enough. And Sion James off the bench, bully ball. Like, that's his role. They what I like about their team is they're all, not all, but some of them are wildly extremely talented. And they're not wildly extremely talented in the same way. There's very little duplication on their roster. If you need a rim protector, obviously you can have Cooper Flagg or Common Malawash, but they're very different in how they do it. If you want shooting from the perimeter, there's Caleb Foster or Con Knipple or a few others, but the way they go about it is very different. And then Cooper Flagg is kind of in the middle trying to make it all work, and if the legends are true, he'll be able to make it work in a big way. I've yet to find someone whose opinion I trust on basketball who doesn't think this guy's the real deal. Not even like maybe he's a little overhyped. It's all I'll read a text from last night from one of those people I trust in basketball, because it's actually funny. It's funny because I said, they might start slow. I said non-conference schedule is bananas, but if they pull it together, they have a good chance. The response was, as long as Cooper is out there, they have a chance.
Pretty much.
And it looked it. And they looked like they had the other guys to pick up the slack. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. By the way, the ACC went undefeated. So
we did.
We don't have the big, oh no, what happened game. There are a few of those in the SEC. But we won't focus on that. We'll focus on the positive. ACC played well. Also, in other optimistic news, I don't get to say this often, so I'm going to relish it a bit here. The Panthers made a good trade. They traded away Jonathan Mingo. They gave a seventh tossed in. They got a fourth back. Those are draft picks, seventh rounder, fourth rounder. Jonathan Mingo traded to the Cowboys. Our reactions coming up.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Natchez heads up. Back to Orlov. He scores! A 1-2 punch from Dmitry Orlov. It's 3-2 on Orlov, second of the game.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Back to Slavin. He shot right on. Rebounds out in front. Chance up front. They score! Here come the Hats!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Is your heating and air system ready for cooler weather? Call Newcomb & Company today to schedule a routine maintenance and ensure your system is operating at peak performance. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs for HVAC and plumbing work. Newcomb & Company has served the area as a Carrier Factory authorized dealer for more than 3 generations. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company and Carrier. Your comfort is our business.
Morning people wake up for peace and quiet. McDonald's breakfast people, we wake up for the sweet rush of getting that warm, delicious breakfast right before it ends.
Enjoy a savory sausage McMuffin with a fluffy egg for only $2.50. Be a McDonald's breakfast person. Get the most important deal of the day right after you wake up. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Because now at Staples, you can save up to $50 on your print purchase. From posters and flyers to signs and menus, Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. And with Staples Print Perfect Guarantee, it's done right or it's printed again free. Plus, same-day service is available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. Get it printed right at Staples. And now get up to $50 off your print purchase. And 7/6 visit Staples.com/print for details.
Cheer on Duke football as they face off against the Virginia Tech Hokies on Saturday, November 23rd. This is the last home game in the regular season. Don't miss your chance to see the Blue Devils at Brooks Field at Wallace Wade Stadium. Tickets start at just $42. Add the Devil's Deck in-stadium experience to your ticket and receive exclusive access to the end zone tailgate space with all-you-can-eat food and drink. Tickets are available now at goduke.com/footballticks or by calling 919-681-BLUE. Duke football. Bleed blue.
Play action on first down. Quick throw to Mingo in the flat right side. He is dropped by Canales at midfield on the far sideline. A yard on the play.
Sing it, boys to men. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You may be saying, why, coming out of break, did we just play the audio, the play-by-play, of a 1-yard catch 4 games ago?
October 23rd against the Falcons.
It's a Panthers 1-yard catch from 4 games ago. It's because that was the last catch Jonathan Mingo will have in a Carolina Panthers uniform. Jonathan Mingo. Just when I was almost completely out on the Panthers front office, they just do enough to pull me back in.
And totally redeem yourselves.
I'm not going to call Dan Morgan Dumb and Dumber just because he's a scary individual. Jonathan Mingo, was traded to the Cowboys today. Trade deadline's coming up here in about 45 minutes. I don't expect any more from the Panthers, but we'll keep you updated if anything happens. Jonathan Mingo traded to the Cowboys in addition to a 7th-round pick. The Panthers receive a 4th-round pick from the Cowboys. This is good business. First of all, if you look at kind of the most widely approved or the consensus trade value chart, moving up from that 7th to that 4th-round pick is about the equivalent of a 5th. That's so they say, like, if you were doing just picks, it would take the 7th and a 5th to move up to the 4th. So you just traded Jonathan Mingo for a 5th-round pick. That's a good day. Mingo, obviously not part of your plans. Jalen Coker made him expendable. The breakout of Jalen Coker made Jonathan Mingo no longer a necessary part of your core, which is why over the last 4 games, despite playing a handful of snaps, it's not like he wasn't out there, he only finished with 1 catch. And oh, by the way, he's now played, 24 games with the Panthers? He has a grand total of 0 touchdowns. Not once, not a blowout, not a garbage time, not one of those opening drives, which for some reason the Panthers are much better on opening drives than even later in games. They not once did he find the end zone. So once you know he's no longer a part of your plans, make the move. They didn't wait. They didn't say, all right, we have him under contract for another 2 years after this on a rookie deal. We'll do it this offseason. No. Every day you let it pass, his value went down. They found a desperate trade partner and got back real value. The Dallas Cowboys spent more to acquire Jonathan Mingo than they got in return for Amari Cooper. That's bad business by the Cowboys. But if someone else wants to make a mistake at your benefit, say thank you. Jane Slater of the NFL Network tweeted out that, this is kind of funny, an NFL talent evaluator texted her when asked about she asked the talent evaluator about this trade. They sent an emoji that I will describe as the throwing up face, and then tells her that should have been a 6-for-7 pick swap. So you got 2 extra rounds of value. That's good. Now, I want to be clear here. I'm talking about today was good. The entire Mingo experience, not a good one. Mingo was a bad pick a couple of years ago when he was drafted in the 2nd round. It could have been Rashee Rice. It could have been Tank Dell, Josh Downs, who was playing right here at the University of North Carolina.
Yeah. And a lot of those guys went around later.
Because
Mingo was 39th.
Cedric Tillman, exactly. They were all 2nd or 3rd rounders. I'm not even getting to, like, the Puka Nakuas, the Pop Douglases, who were drafted way, way beyond because, well, quite frankly, that's unfair. Just, if everybody passed on him multiple times after your pick, nobody saw it coming. But within the next handful of wide receivers taken after Jonathan Mingo, those guys I'm talking about, right? The Rashee Rices of the world, the Tank Dells, the Josh Downs, the Cedric Tillmans, those are much better wide receivers. Mingo was a bad pick, and I'm not excusing that mistake from the history of the Panthers. Although, if you wanted some context, I believe 1st and 2nd round picks are really GM picks. Like they're the ones that make that cold and hard decision. They might trust an assistant GM or a scout. Like if you stand on the table and really put your reputation on the line with like a 5th round pick. But 1st and 2nd, that's a GM's decision. And Scott Fitterer's gone. The assistant GM at the time, Dan Morgan, I don't know if you can really put that on him. But hey, if you do, I'm not going to argue with you. Regardless of who was the decision maker who influenced the Jonathan Mingo pick, once you make a mistake, all you can do is make the best of it. I'm sure they tried to like go back to the draft with the receipt and Jonathan Mingo and go, I'm sorry, it didn't fit. I'll take store credit. Like I'll take another 2nd rounder. I'm sure they tried. Unfortunately, a draft has a firm and strict no returns policy. You can't go in there and do that. So at the time, you made the decision of using a 2nd round pick on a player who wasn't worth a 2nd round pick. Today, you got someone else to give you a 4th round pick for someone who's not worth a 4th round pick. Every day he was still on the roster, his value dropped, and they didn't wait. They got it done before the deadline. This is a good move by Dan Morgan. It is. And for those of you wondering, like, well, why did he get more than Deontay? One, I don't think they got enough for Deontay Johnson. This is like credit where it's due. This was a good move. I thought the Deontay Johnson move wasn't. But I will acknowledge that Jonathan Mingo has 2.5 years of his rookie contract still locked in, and he's a little better on special teams. So if there's a reason, there it is. Now it's what's next, okay? Jonathan Mingo trade, gold star. Right? Give credit where it's due. Say the compliment out loud. If you're going to be harsh, now be complimentary. And then look to what's next. Jalen Coker's breakout made Jonathan Mingo expendable for the Panthers. I hope, to all goodness, that the front office and the coaching staff are ready for this, in alignment on what that means, and that Coker will now be fed targets and given time and opportunities here in a lost season that he needs to reach his potential. Same for fellow rookie pass catchers. Xavier Legette, the first rounder. Tight end Jatavian Sanders, the fourth rounder. They've flashed. Give them targets. They're the reason why you are willing to move on from former second-round picks, because these guys are now the future. Give them the time and space they need, the opportunities, the targets. The leash, by the way, if they drop a pass or if Xavier Legette catches a pass and then hands it off to the defensive back, no doghouse for these guys. Not this year. What I say no doghouse is, some coaches, if you make a mistake, you're not playing the rest of the game, or now you got to wait a month. No doghouses for these guys as long as they have the right attitude and you can tell that they care and you can tell that they're working hard and they're trying to fix the mistakes. You put them out there, you let them learn on the job. Because if you don't, the veterans, if it's a David Moore, if it's an Adam Thielen, love Adam Thielen, 100 catches last year, you're in a different place than you were last year with your wide receivers. And this move proves it. And if you don't give Jalen Coker the time and space and opportunities and targets he needs to reach the top of his potential, then you wasted the thing that has happened thus far this season. And I am going to refrain from throwing all of the comparisons, the comps I've seen to Jalen Coker out there, because they're not fair to Jalen Coker.
Okay.
Certain analysts and the quote-unquote film watchers have put some names attached to Jalen Coker that I don't think are fair.
Such as?
I saw Nico Collins.
Okay.
Nico Collins is a monster athletically, and I'm not sure 4.57 Jalen Coker is there, but when you do talk comps, size, some of the contested catch ability, you hope that the ceiling would be Nico Collins. My point is, he needs time. He's a sapling right now. If you don't give him the proper water and if you don't give him the proper sunlight and you don't make sure you keep the critters away, if you don't do all of that, then the breakout, the potential he's shown is not worth anything. And you just let Jonathan Mingo go, or you decided to trade him because you had this and the sapling's going to die. I want to see Jalen Coker with more targets. I want to see Xavier Legette with more targets. I want to see Jatavian Sanders with more targets.
By the way, looking back at that 2023 NFL draft for the Carolina Panthers.
Not the best.
No. First pick overall, obviously, Bryce Young. Jury's still out. Big question marks. Jonathan Mingo, second-round pick, no longer with the team. Third-round pick, DJ Johnson. They keep trying to find guys to replace him.
Yep.
And they actually used a third and a fourth to trade up to draft him. Fourth-round pick was Chandler Zavala, NC State, who's a backup offensive guard. And fifth-round pick was Jamie Robinson, a safety out of Florida State, who's a special teams guy. That's it. That's all that they got from the 2023 draft. That is it.
Well, I don't encourage you to do this. It's a bit of like if you were a Panther fan and you were in a movie and you had to cry on command, I might suggest that you do this.
Sure.
But it's more brutal to look at that draft with the next players at their position drafted. Bryce Young, who was next?
C.J.
Stroud. That one stings a little. Little tear welling up. Jonathan Mingo taken 39th overall. Who was the next wide receiver taken? Jaden Reed, who's been balling out for the Packers.
Yeah.
Who was the next wide receiver after that? Rashee Rice, who, when healthy and not in off-the-field problems, has been balling out for the Kansas City Chiefs. Tank Dell was next up for the wide receivers. Marvin Mims was mixed in there, but we don't talk about it. DJ Johnson as an outside linebacker taken in the third. Some of the guys taken right after that, 4 picks later, Devon Achane from the Miami Dolphins, who's absolute monster. There's a lot of very good players that they could have had if you could go back and do it again. That's not necessarily fair. Everybody has those shoulda, woulda, couldas.
Oh, yeah.
But if you ever want to just,
But you just look at that draft as a whole.
It's sad.
You got hardly anything.
Pretty brutal. But now you got a 4th-round pick to maybe make up for it.
Hey, let's go.
If that 4th-round pick ends up being a stud, Jatavian Sanders was a 4th-round pick.
That he was.
If you end up doing that, small amounts of it will be forgotten. Not all of it, but small amounts. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we introduce a new segment focusing on college sports. It's called The Thesis Statement. UNC basketball fans, you don't want to miss it. Stick around.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
The Blue Devils up 21-20, and they got their arms reaching for that bell.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med, Sammy's Tap and Grill, and Roofworks.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only.
Who's ready for some football? Celebrate the season with award-winning wings and ice-cold pints at Carolina Ale House. With wall-to-wall TVs, Carolina Ale House is the go-to spot for every game. From Honey Buffalo to Five Alarm to Carolina Barbecue, we've got wing sauces for all flavors. If you're feeling hungry, don't forget about our brisket French dip or Philly cheesesteak. Grab a front row seat, sip on your favorite beer, and watch your squad with us. Carolina Ale House. Ale yeah.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Creighton Blackwell here from Coastal Credit Union and 99 The Fan. And it is time for our Scholar Athlete of the Month. Today, we are here at Willow Springs High School, and we're here to celebrate Ansley Ayers.
She's really encouraging and will make sure that you're comfortable with whatever you're doing, and I never have a bad time when I'm around her.
Her energy is always very uplifting at practice and competitions.
Last year we won a state championship. You know, she was there in the corner again, hyping everybody up, just giving them just some words of wisdom before they hit the mat.
Ansley is an amazing athlete. She's a leader on the team and a great student. Love having her in class, and she's really good and represents the school well.
I'm really happy to represent Willow Spring. Both my parents have been there for me since day one, and my sisters too. They've always been supporting me, and I couldn't have done it without them. And my teammates are always just constantly bringing up my attitude and helping me stay positive through everything, no matter how busy or stressful it can get.
Congratulations, Ansley.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Looking for a new vehicle? Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford is one of the only dealerships where you can shop all four brands under one roof. Get unbeatable deals on new and pre-owned vehicles. Our expert service department keeps you on the road, and our full-body shop handles any repairs. It's all here at Wilkinson, where quality and convenience come first. Drive with confidence. Drive with Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC on NC 87 South in Sanford, or online at WilkinsonCars.com.
Want to score points with your boss? Recruit RoofWorks to your building maintenance team to handle your commercial roofing needs. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. We've helped hundreds of Triangle businesses with their commercial roof maintenance, repairs, and if necessary, total replacements. Our pros come to your site, assess your roofing needs, and then give you a range of options to fit your budget. And we'd love to work with you. For roof maintenance and repair, contact us today at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Train Heating and Cooling Systems are engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train.
And R.J. Davis right back to Cadeau. Well, he's going to pull a three. Yeah, why not? Let's start it with a triple as Cadeau knocks it in from the right wing.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. College basketball started yesterday in earnest, and in real games, the ones that count. Just about every team seemingly was playing a game somewhere. There were scores coming in all over the place. I wonder if anyone else noticed this, by the way. Because there were multiple games going on, what I like to do is have one I'm kind of paying attention to and have the stats for the other games that I'd like to watch in front of me. That way, if one gets really close or whatever, I can, shuffle through screens, put the better game on the big screen. ESPN college basketball stats, like their website, I think they didn't know they were going to have basketball games last night. At one point, I checked the NC State score, right, because I was trying to figure out what was going on there, and they had 10 points worth of like individual players that had scored. One had 6, one had 2, another had 2, and somehow NC State had scored as a team like 28, and it was pure chaos the whole time, and it didn't really get better. At one point, I tried to check back, and then I moved to the NC State game. I tried to check back on the Duke game, and so I looked at their stats, and they just weren't giving any. They had the score of the game, and that was it. There was nothing else going on, and they just bailed. So they'll get better. It was a first game for everybody. But with college basketball kind of arriving and college football still going on, and this being what I consider one of, if not the meccas of college sports here in the Triangle, we're introducing a new segment. It's called the Thesis Statement. Did you hear all those people that thought they were done with college and were never going to have to write papers and essays and research papers ever again? Thesis Statement. So what's going to happen in the Thesis Statement? We're going to try to work this in every single day about this time, right around 3:30. Obviously, breaking news or whatever might move it, but you can pretty much bank on it. I am going to make a statement, a thesis, if you will, and then I will spend some time trying to defend and prove that thesis true. Defend your thesis. I'm going to pretend I'm back in, like, I don't know, a 101 class freshman year, 8 a.m., dragging my tired behind to class and then having to defend some ridiculous book report or something. So here we go. My thesis statement for UNC basketball after yesterday is Hubert Davis and the UNC coaching staff don't trust the freshmen and transfers. They don't trust the new guys on their roster. They don't trust them. Now I will defend. As you'll see in my research, I'm not going to do the whole bit, but you know what I'm saying. I believe you learn what you truly feel when under pressure. I believe you learn who you truly are when the stakes are greatest. Who do you trust? Who do you give the ball to? Who do you put on the floor? UNC struggled with Elon last night. That's not what they were expecting to do. I'm sure they were expecting to do what Duke, what NC State did, which is essentially run your ones out there, have them look good, have them work up a nice sweat, get some highlights, then get your twos out there, maybe a walk-on or two at the end, get their first career bucket or whatever it is. UNC didn't get to do that. They didn't. So I think we learned more about UNC. I don't think they wanted to learn more about themselves, but they did learn more about themselves. Elon was ahead 71-69 with 6 minutes and 48 seconds to go in the game. Elon was leading the number 9 team in the country with 6 minutes and 48 seconds to go in the game. So speaking of those stats, right? Those ESPN stats. This morning I went back, wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything, and I ran through the play-by-play, starting with the moment one of those Simpkins twins, there were twins playing for Elon, one of the Simpkins twins hit the 2 free throws to go up 2. From that point on, you can go back and look at the entire play-by-play. They have every rebound, every block, every shot taken, every foul, every steal, every assist. You read 2 new players' names. The last 6 minutes and 48 seconds, Cade Tyson, transfer, got a rebound, 1, and Drake Powell, freshman, recorded a block as time expired. It is literally registered as a block with 0 seconds on the clock. That's it. Every other shot, foul, assist, steal, rebound, every other everything is by one of the 5 guys that played major minutes in that game that were on the team last year. Hubert Davis said, or told this to the media afterwards, about the message he gave the team when they were trailing late to Elon.
we've talked about at practice how we're going to react, how we're going to respond. And you said from a defensive standpoint, we have to be sound and disciplined. We've got to get stops. We got to finish the defensive possession with gang rebounding. And then on the offensive end, you got to take care of the basketball. And we got to get shots and get the shots to the guys that can make shots. And I thought we were really intentional about doing that. I think we went on an 11-0 run. And from that standpoint, for the first game, I mean, there's a lot to learn.
11-0 run. We got to, right? And I agree. You get down late in the game, second half, you start. It's not like we want to. It's not we hope to. It's not we're going to. It's we got to. And when UNC got to have it, what did they do? The minutes tell the story. Elliot Cadeau, R.J. Davis, Seth Trimble all played 30-plus minutes. Jalen Withers, Jalen Washington played 20-plus minutes. The transfers, Van Allen Lubin, Cade Tyson, the freshmen, Drake Powell, Ian Jackson, and all their stars in the recruiting place that they brought with them. Highest any of them played was 17 minutes. That's what it is. Hubert Davis didn't trust the freshmen and the transfers when Elon hung with them. I guarantee you, if they were up 20, Drake Powell probably would have had a windmill dunk in there somewhere, right? Ian Jackson would have been flying up the court like the New York point guards that came before him. It would have been more experience for them, but as soon as the chips were on the table, he said, I need someone I can trust. Do you know who might have a little something in common?
Who's that?
Hubert Davis and Dave Canales. They don't like trusting young guys. They don't like trusting young guys. And by the way, that's what you're wanting to do, right? It's your program, do what you want. But UNC never really embraced the one and done as much as some other programs. They like to have veterans. But this roster is going to have to trust the new guys at some point. And I'm not saying like they can't. This was game one, right? Things will change. Game one is not what it's going to be the rest of the year. But I would say especially Powell and Jackson, especially the two true freshmen, they bring some pop to the lineup that isn't there otherwise. Withers thinks he's a three-point shooter. Cool, if you can expand your game, go for it. Washington's the other big. Van Allen Lubin, the transfer big, is going to spell them. He's got a little bit more girth, size, weight to him. But Powell and Jackson bring an element that some of the other guys don't have. Seth Trimble has it in spades, and Seth Trimble's going to play a ton. But a little bit of size on the wing, a little bit of explosion on the wing, those guys are going to have to be trusted. And then, I can't believe it's gone this far, and this is like my fourth paragraph in the thesis statement where, and now I bring it home. It can't just be R.J. Davis. R.J. Davis is awesome. Do not get me wrong. And it did feel like he had like the switch to flip in that game where he was kind of chilling. He was, I'm going to hit a shot here and there. But, you guys need me. Oh, you do? All right, bull up. And then, 11-0 run. And, basically as soon as they went up 71-69, the next handful of minutes was the R.J. Davis show. And it's nice to have that, but you hope to not have to use it against Elon. Hubert Davis talked about the importance of his reigning ACC Player of the Year in late-game situations.
Well, in those situations, you need guys to be able to step up. It's not just from points. It's also energy, effort plays. I mentioned before Jay Wash and Elliott's diving on the loose ball, getting defensive stops and rebounds. There's a number of ways that you can make impactful plays in order to help your team be successful. Obviously, having RJ, a fifth-year senior, first-team All-American in those situations, that's nice to have as a coach, and it's nice to have as players out there on the floor. It's nothing new for him. He's somebody that has always stepped up throughout his entire career, and he was able to do that tonight.
All true. What can we say about R.J. Davis that hasn't been said about R.J. Davis? Let's be real. He's the reigning ACC Player of the Year. I'm not surprised he stepped up in the final minutes. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's look across the triangle to the last ACC team in the triangle that we haven't talked about yet. NC State. They had a really cool night to open their season. It was as much about the basketball, which they took care of business against South Carolina Upstate, as it was what took place everywhere else in the arena. The building was optimistic. It was fun. It was lighthearted. It was a double banner night. They put up the Final Four banner. They put up the ACC championship banner. There was a big pop when Kevin Keats came out before the game. Crowd went wild. There's a big pop from Michael O'Connell when he was announced with the starters.
Oh, yeah.
There's a big pop. Casey Morsell was there doing the game for ACC Network. He's crossed over to the dark side with us. Big pop for Casey Morsell. The game was won by 31. It was a really cool night, but it does bring me back to my question about them yesterday. Yesterday we did cons and cons for all the teams. What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about? NC State, depth, rocked. They had 8 players score between 8 and 14 points. They had a lot of guys that seemed comfortable. I still am a little concerned about who's going to be what I called yesterday their lead singer. They got some backup singers that we trust, we love, we've seen them already. They have some, I would say some like lead guitarists, some guys that can take over for a solo here and there. But you need the vocalist that's going to be the guy. Michael O'Connell, Dontrez Styles, and Breon Pass. Breon Pass off the bench, by the way. Kind of felt like they were taking their swing at lead singer. Right? Felt like they were like, no, give me the mic. None of them lit it up, but they all played pretty well. Dontrez Styles right out the gate was, by the way, Styles, the transfer, started his career at UNC, then Georgetown, now at NC State. Felt like he was ready. Give me the ball, watch what I do with it. Kevin Keats with his thoughts on how all of the transfers looked in that game.
Well, I thought they all were good. I mean, obviously it's always tough when you play your first game. You're going to have first game jitters. They're into a new program, but I thought everybody was solid. This was a game that I thought everybody contributed in a very positive way. Did all of our shots go down? No. But I thought we did some good things. And to see Brandon, we've got to do a better job of getting Brandon and being the ball inside. I thought we missed some opportunities there. But those guys are both capable scorers, but they're really good passers. They're willing passers. Even when the double team, they would find the right guy.
Here's the question. And here's what again, it's game one. I'm not overreacting. I'm just setting the table to potentially overreact later. We know Michael Connell has that shot against UVA, right? You know what I'm talking about. It was one of the most memorable shots in the entire country last year. It's going to be on NC State highlight films forever.
They were showing it before the game, too.
Let's not pretend that if they could go back and 20 seconds before that play, draw up a play for anyone, that Kevin Keats would have been going, we need to get the ball to Michael O'Connell here, right? It's just the way the game broke down. They had other guys they would have gone to first. Let's say you get that opportunity. Timeout, 20 seconds left. You're down 1. Who on this NC State team is getting the ball? That's the question that I think they need to figure out a way to answer. And the answer can't be, well, it could be one of 9 guys. It's you need the one, you need the Jimmy Chitwood, you need the I hate using this term, but the alpha, right? You need the one who everybody just kind of knows, like, all right, what screen am I setting for so-and-so? I don't know if they have that. Ben Middlebrooks, the post player who took over a game last year in the one-and-done portion of their season, talked about having scoring throughout their lineup.
How many guys scored at double-digit points? I mean, I think we had like 40-something, 50-something points off the bench. So, I mean, again, I feel like we have some of the most competitive practices in the country. I mean, we go at each other every day. I mean, you see different guys being successful against each other. I mean, and so many different skill sets and things like that. So I think we got a lot of big things to come for a lot of different guys.
Love that. Love having a whole bunch of guys that can score. Who's your guy that can score? See, just a little hint of different stank on it, and it's we have 9 guys that we're comfortable having score the basketball. Yeah, but who's your guy that's going to score the basketball? It's a little different, and it's a whole different question.
It's one thing to have multiple options. Who's your first one?
Yeah,
that's the thing. I my guess is Jaden Taylor.
I think that's
but that's something you got to figure out, though.
I was going to say, I think he's the one who's going to get like the first swing at it. He's going to get the first crack at it. But you're going to have to figure out throughout the season if he's the one that should get the last crack at it, right? Getting the first opportunity doesn't mean you're getting the last opportunity. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is Election Day. So I thought we'd take the end of this hour for me to break down the pros and cons of every – no, I'm completely kidding.
No, definitely not doing that.
You'll never hear me give any kind of advice on politics. The only thing I will say is this, and it's a weird pet peeve of mine that I bring up every election day, and trust me, no one is going to get upset by this. All the everybody vote stuff. Hey, go everybody vote. It's your duty to vote. I just like to add one more thing. Figure out what candidates align with whatever your values are before you go. Well, I don't care what your values are. That's your business, right? You figure out what your priorities are. But, especially for the young people, I remember my first time going to vote. Walked in there with I knew the presidential candidates. There's 30 questions for me to answer, and I was like, I don't know anything about 90% of these people here. We're going to have to figure this one out. So just before you go, take whatever time you need so you're voting for the things that are important to you. That's all I'm saying. I will never tell anyone who to vote for.
And wear your stickers.
I'm wearing mine.
Me too.
Voted this morning. I was third in line.
Likewise.
At the voting place. Got out early. But we will have some fun with Election Day with one of our games we call Players As. We did this last week with Players As Halloween candies. Today, Players As fictional, meaning movie and TV politicians. And we've actually changed it because politicians just align better with leadership. So it's coaches and owners as fictional politicians. Some of them funny, some of them serious. We'll start with Dave Doran, NC State head coach. NC State head coach Dave Doran is President Tom Kirkman, who is it's Kiefer Sutherland from that show Designated Survivor.
Yeah.
Which is, for those of you that don't know, I'll give you the 2-second kind of log line. When all of the people on the hierarchy of power, the president, if something happens to them, it goes to the vice president. Something happens to them, it goes to the speaker. When all of the people in that hierarchy are going to be in the same place, they take one person and put them somewhere else.
Yes.
That way, if something bad happens to that one place, that person moves into, it's usually a labor secretary or something. They end up the designated survivor. This show is about what if that happens. It's Kiefer Sutherland. Dave Doran is the designated survivor because when he took over at NC State, football coach at NC State a decade and a half ago, you look around the triangle, NC State basketball was coached by Mark Gottfried, Duke basketball coached by Coach K, UNC basketball coached by Roy Williams, UNC football coached by Larry Fedora, Duke football coached by David Cutcliffe. He is the last man standing. How about this one? Rod Brindamore, head coach of the Canes.
Mm-hmm.
As a fictional politician, he gets President James Marshall, who you all will know as Harrison Ford in Air Force One.
Get off my plane.
Exactly. Because in most movies, the president, if something happens, he's being protected by Secret Service, military, whoever. In that one, he had to do it himself. Fine, you know what? Let me beat some people up. Let me get physical. If it came down to it, and a coach or an owner had to give your team some minutes in competition, Rod could give you 12 minutes. He'd probably end up with multiple points and probably win 60% of his faceoffs. He could give it to you one time. David?
Yes.
From the Star Wars universe?
Yep. Star Wars.
Played by Ian McDiarmid. My basis, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but my basis of this is too much power and no one to tell him no.
Yeah, he's an emperor with dark evil powers and taps into the dark side. Yes, that is David Tepper.
Sometimes they're just too on the nose, right?
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. David Tepper was a minority owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, much like Emperor Palpatine was a member of the Senate. And then ends up gaining full control of the Senate and makes himself just the Lord of all. So, yes. Eventually, hopefully one day a Jedi Knight will come and take him out.
Could Dave Canales be that? No, he's probably on his side.
No, he's Darth Vader.
Let's go Dave Canales, and I'll tell you who Dave Canales is.
Oh, okay.
Players as fictional politicians, coaches as fictional politicians. Dave Canales, coach of the Panthers, Deputy Director of the Parks and Recreation, Leslie Knope.
Oh, okay.
Which is Amy Poehler in Parks and Rec. Wide-eyed, optimistic, very well-intentioned. Nobody questions if your heart is in the right place, But, man, that execution is rarely done right.
All positive energy all the time.
No one doubts the almost golden retriever optimism. But the execution is always like, we're going to have to laugh at this a few times before we get it right. Let's see. What else do I have here? John Shire. Okay. President Thomas J. Whitmore, which is better known as Bill Pullman in Independence Day.
Oh, okay. There you go.
He gives the great speech, we're all going to be pilots, and then basically ends with, like, we will not vanish without a fight. It's a whole thing. He does it better than I do. But basically because John Shire must have a great closing speech. I don't know how he recruits the way he does, so he must have, like, all right, let's get your parents and you in the living room, and we're going to have an in-house visit, and I am going to close with this. Because he recruits like a madman. Charles Lee of the Hornets. He is the new head coach of the Hornets. He is president.
Charlotte Hornets.
There it is. He is President Orlean. That's Meryl Streep in a movie Don't Look Up.
Oh, okay.
Which is on Netflix. He is Meryl Streep because it might be really good, but no one saw it.
Because you can't watch Hornets games up here?
Because for some reason it's blacked out, and we are in the state of North Carolina and hours away from Charlotte, by the way. And I haven't met anyone that really watched Don't Look Up. But it's Meryl Streep, so it could be good.
Yeah, it could be.
Just no one saw it. Nobody knows. We have two more here. Hubert Davis, UNC head basketball coach.
Okay.
President/vice president/Veep, whatever, Selena Meyer from Veep. That's Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Oh, okay. Because
in that world, Selena Meyer was a member of the U.S. House of Representatives, a U.S. senator, a vice president, a president, then loses the presidency, then tries to get the presidency back. And if you look at Hubert Davis's history, he was a star player, he was a role player, he was a media member, he was an assistant coach, he's a head coach. He's done a little bit of everything. You've carried like every single title, just like Selena Meyer. Lastly, Mac Brown, UNC head football coach. He's President Jed Bartlett from the West Wing.
Oh, okay.
Because anyone that's watched the West Wing, you know. I think it ended up being 8 seasons, 9 seasons.
Sure.
The first, 5, awesome. Unbelievable. Hall of Fame worthy. National championship worthy. Last 30, 40% goes downhill pretty aggressively. You look at Mac Brown, UNC stopped number 1. What was it, Tulane before that? The Texas all the way to the national championship. Awesome. Hall of Fame worthy. National championship worthy. Since then, it's gone downhill a little bit. Kind of ended on a bummer, didn't it? That is coaches as fictional politicians. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Well, we're going to take a break, but first, Window Nation. Tim Donnelly here for Window Nation. If you're like me, you literally, and you'll get where I'm going with this, the windows of your house become part of the background. You don't even see them, really. Until recently, because, yes, we already have our Christmas decorations up. When that starts happening, it's my wife. She's Christmased out. But when that starts happening, you start looking at your windows more, right? You have lights going up. You're putting wreaths and you're putting garland, and also you look at your windows and you go, the sealant is cracking a little bit here. Or maybe you're standing by your window, which is shut, and you're like, why is it cooler standing here than it is in the middle of the room? Oh, is that air from the outside coming into your house? If that's happening, then air is getting out of your house as well, which means the air you're paying to heat, the air you're paying to cool in the summer is escaping out right through those windows, costing you a ton of money on your energy bill each and every month. Window Nation fixes all that. They have wildly efficient windows with the best materials, the best installation, the best lifetime warranty, and a great deal going on right now. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, plus pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years. 96% customer satisfaction rating, and as I mentioned, a lifetime warranty. So if you don't like something, give them a call. It is all easy to set up. Get a free, no obligation consultation and demonstration and estimate by calling this number, 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com to schedule. That's 866-90-NATION, or online at windownation.com. We'll take a break. When we come back, football at 4, where I ask Dave Canales a simple question. Can't you help Bryce out a little bit with his confidence? Just a hint. Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
More than the Panthers winning, I was just excited that Bryce Young looked like a quarterback who could play in the league. Now let's build on that. It doesn't do anybody any good to pretend that Bryce isn't going to be the quarterback. He has to be the starter in Germany. I don't get why we decide, well, we're just going to play coy. Who is that serving? Put him in the game, let him go.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
Tim Donnelly here to tell you about some of the coolest things happening in timepieces and watches at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, located in their Village District location in Raleigh. I've told you about their Fox and Bailey watch shop, but now I want to make sure you know what they're doing with Blancpain, one of the most iconic brands in watches today. Matter of fact, they're the oldest surviving watchmaking brand, so you know they understand how important it is to keep time. Not only that, the entirety of their existence has been about innovation, from creating one of the very first modern dive watches in their iconic 50 Fathoms models, all the way up to what they're doing today with innovation in materials like titanium, ceramic, liquid metal, all to enhance the durability and performance of their watches. Blancpain is one of the most iconic timepiece manufacturers in the entire world, and you can find a great assortment at Bailey's Fine Jewelry in their Village District location in Raleigh.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. A nice election afternoon for us under partly cloudy skies. It's a warm one out there with a high of 80 degrees, almost a record high for it today. Some patchy fog tonight with a low of 60, and then we'll see increasing clouds tomorrow, but it's another warm one with a high of 82.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 427 points to 42,222.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. As of 1 minute and 54 seconds ago, the trade deadline has come and gone, and Bryce Young is still a Panther. The trade deadline was today, 4 o'clock Eastern. Usually there's a little bit of a lag, like the final move, if made right against the buzzer, could still be leaking out, trickling out. I don't anticipate that happening. So Bryce Young is a Panther at least till the offseason. He's also currently trying to work through what I consider a pretty significant, pretty public crisis of confidence that he suffered earlier this year. And I do want to know why Dave Canales can't help him out a little bit. Just to throw the guy a bone for a second here. And if you listened to the show yesterday, you know I'm pretty bummed that Dave Canales hasn't named Bryce Young the starting quarterback for this upcoming week in Germany as of yet, because I think that would go a long way towards making him feel more confident. Right? Like, hey, that game-winning drive I had at the end of the Saints, which, by the way, has completely altered the path of the Saints. They traded Marshawn Lattimore. They fired their coach.
Yeah.
Like, that win meant something if you let it. But Dave Canales isn't willing to name Bryce Young the starter because, I don't know, there's more information he wants to gather or something. The reasoning he's given has been vague, to put it best.
Maybe they're trying to trade him. Didn't want to say it.
Name him the starter, then trade him. Actually, that'd probably boost his trade value if you're like, actually, he's our starting quarterback. Like, but that's not what's the pebble in my shoe right now. And credit to, I'm not the first to notice this, credit to a caller that brought it up yesterday. I know they played this audio on Next Up, which airs 9 a.m. every weekday morning here on 99.9 The Fan. I'm hoping it's an oversight, but I don't think it is. I don't want to make this out to be, I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill, but I also don't think it's nothing. Why didn't Dave Canales mention Bryce Young in the postgame locker celebration? This was their second win of the year, first in over a month. It was a unbelievable relief for those in that locker room. They were getting together to celebrate. Dave Canales gave a post-game speech. He started with, is this the whole thing or just that last clip? Okay. It started with, can you win a game in the first quarter? No. Can you win a game? Like some cheesy call and response stuff. But hey, everybody's feeling good. Go nuts. You want to do 3 hip hip hoorays? Go crazy. But then he started talking about individual players. And here's that clip.
Charles Harris had a half a sack. Clowney had a half a sack. We got to go 2 times here. Chuba Hubbard had 1 touchdown. Chuba Hubbard had another touchdown. Okay, hey, that's us. Finish.
He also went on to say Mike Jack, meaning Mike Jackson, had a big stop at the end of the game. Yay! That's weird. It's weird that Bryce Young wasn't mentioned.
No mention of Leggett with a touchdown catch either.
Because then it would have had to bring up that it was a touchdown catch from somebody.
That's true.
It's weird. There is not a team in the world of football that doesn't shout out the quarterback after a game-winning drive to come from behind in the fourth quarter or overtime, yet they just did it. And by the way, that drive featured 3 significant plays. The yards were picked up in 3 significant plays. It started with a 26-yard completion on 3rd and 10. That's what you give quarterbacks, that's their thing. We need you to complete big throws on 3rd down. 26-yarder on 3rd and 10. Then a good decision leads to a 22-yard DPI call. Goes to the right guy. Defender was out of position. Defensive pass interference picks up 22 yards. And then a 16-yard touchdown from Chuba Hubbard on the ground. The only part of that acknowledged by the coach was the touchdown by Chuba Hubbard, and it was so good they had to separate it from the earlier touchdown by Chuba Hubbard. That's not nothing. And the fact that he hasn't said anything about it, because you like, oh, it was an oversight. That's fine. I'm buying. Post-game locker room, coach got excited. Cool. What happened when Dan Campbell, who everybody pretty much acknowledges is the best culture setter in the NFL, because he took the Detroit gosh darn Lions and turned them into a place that they all seem like best friends? What did he do when he gave out game balls in the post-game locker room and forgot to give one to Jared Goff? By the way, Jared Goff had a perfect night that night. He was 18 for 18, threw a bunch of yards. He came up to the post-game press conference, and the first thing he said was, I forgot to give a game ball to Jared Goff. I feel bad about it. If Dave Canales walked up to a press conference, if he talked to his Monday media availability, and he said, hey, listen, I was so excited. I thought I said something. I was too excited. Didn't even mention Bryce or Xavier Leggett.
Blacked out, didn't know what was going on.
He deserved a celebration. That's all it would have taken. And I say all of it for this reason. Quarterback is a confidence position. You have to have no doubt. You have to have everyone's support. You have to cut it loose. And if for 1 second you're okay, that's where I should throw it, but if it's an interception, he already doesn't like intercepted. Incomplete. Knocked down. That a quarter of a half of a second. Just a blink of the eye and you're too late. Help the young man get some confidence. Do you know what Dave Canales is? He is a I'm like, this is an analogy, by the way. Like the college, maybe young adult, immature, in a relationship but doesn't want to be in a relationship guy, because we always talk about teams and quarterbacks is kind of like that's a relationship. The long-term contract, you're married. Rookie contract, you are dating, right? You do all of that. Dave Canales sends Bryce Young the "you up" text at 2 a.m. in the morning. I'll name you the starter on Thursday, but let's not be seen in public on Monday. Right? If I try everyone else, right? I'm going to be flirting with this quarterback. I'm going to hope this quarterback gets back to me. Is Andy Dalton available? When everyone else turns me down, I'll send you the text and see what you're up to. Guess who is not going to gain any confidence in that situation? Bryce Young. If you spend every Sunday afternoon, Monday, Tuesday, trying to find anybody else who you can start at quarterback, and then Wednesday, all right, we finally have enough information, you get to be the starter. How's that going to make him feel? Especially coming off a win. I just let a game-winning drive for you. We were behind a whole bunch of times in that game, and I kept making it happen, and now you're still on the fence? Like, what are we here? What are we? Dave Canales is like, what are we? Ooh, well, I think we're having fun. But, I mean, I don't want to label it. You're not the starting quarterback. But, yeah, no, Sunday was great. Had a really good time. Listen, Andy's calling, so I'm going to go see what he's doing this weekend. And then I'm going to get back to you, okay? Just keep your phone on, but, like, don't – listen, I'll be right back.
They call it DTR, defining the relationship.
Yeah.
So that's how they label it. All right, hey, are we exclusive? No, we're not. Yes, maybe. I don't know. Let's figure that out.
I mean, it's something as simple as, how about our second-year quarterback who stepped up and led a game-winning drive, threw a touchdown earlier in the game to Xavier Legette? How about that? 3rd and 10. Like, by the way, if the people he shouted out, if he only shouted out Chuba Hubbard because he had 2 touchdowns, I'm fine with it. That's a big day. He shouted out 2 guys with half a sack. Half. That's not a good day for like a Jadeveon Clowney. If he plays 18 games and he averages half a sack a game, 8 isn't even getting, like, you're not even on the Pro Bowl ballots. 8 isn't making it happen. These 2 guys shared a sack. Let's give them big applause. The quarterback that made it all happen and got us the win, crickets. I said it before. I'll say it again. It's just an observation from the outside. I don't think Dave Canales likes Bryce. And it might be like, opposites attract. They might be too similar. They both are just, oh, I love football. Oh, it's another opportunity. I'm so excited. We're going to be great at practice. We got to get back to the fundamentals. The other one walks to the podium. He said what I wanted to say. Might be too similar. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We still have to get to our ladder challenge. But first, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. What if you could be debt-free by this January? I'm talking about all that high-interest debt. Pay off all your credit cards, car loans, consolidate everything into one lower payment. If you're ready to stop stressing over bills, you need to call Loan Pronto right now. With rates at their lowest in 2 years, this is the perfect chance to use your home's equity and save big going into the new year. Loan Pronto's got rates with APRs in the low 5s, and they're getting homeowners hundreds of thousands out of their home's equity. Homeowners who do this with Loan Pronto save on average $850 a a month. Loan Pronto offers a ton of options, including total refis or their express equity lines of credit. So call now. Get a rate quote in just minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call today and you won't make a house payment till 2025. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. Free rate quote now, 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will be back with the next installment, another day, of Ladder Challenge gambling picks. I hit yesterday. Did you hit?
No.
Oh, Dennis is back to square one. I build my lead coming up next.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Natchez heads up. Back to Orlov. He scores! A 1-2 punch from Dmitry Orlov. It's 3-2 on Orlov, second of the game.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Back to Slavin. He shot right on. Rebounds out in front. Chance out front. They score! Here come the Hats!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Terms and conditions apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Hey man, been to Sharky's lately?
Yeah, man, I was there last night with you.
Oh, yeah. The wings and the burgers are killer. They have so many beers it's hard to choose, you know?
I know. You know, they got trivia on Tuesdays and luck of the draw darts on Sunday, man. I love them both.
Yeah, I love that place, man.
You know what, man? I think Sharky's may be the best bar in the world.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. Let's go grab a beer.
Sharky's at the corner of Delta Lake Drive and Durham Road, open 7 days a week.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and sauté. That's Desmond Howard level versatility.
Huddle up, the food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
JCPenney has more gifts, bigger savings for every holiday wish list. Celebrate the season that never stops giving. From denim to diamonds, PJs to perfume, and mixers to massagers, we're giving you more options than ever at a value that helps you give a little extra. Looking for more bright ideas? We've got the big brands everyone wants. From Levi's to Legos, there's more to love for them and you. All the deals, all the feels, all the gifts to go around. JCPenney. Make it count.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis, were you just remixing? Is that a little Alanis Morissette? You were gonna pep it up?
Well, I accidentally hit play on our ladder challenge theme.
Oh, okay.
So that's an me.
I thought you were. No, you could have played it off. I thought you were on the ones and twos over there getting your DJ on.
I mean, I could have. You want me to just?
I think what the world needs is a dance remix of Alanis Morissette. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have to get to our ladder challenge. It is Tuesday, November 5th. Every show in the month of November. It is a competition. Dennis and I will be placing bets. One per day. Start with $10. The bets have to be between minus 100 and minus 1,000. So they are likely to win bets, with the idea that compound interest is a heck of a thing, right? You can keep building, and if you roll over your winnings every day, by the end of the month, you'll have a nice chunk of cash. The only problem is sometimes you get it wrong, and if you get it wrong, you have to go back to square one. It is a competition to see who has the most money at the end of the month, and we just learned before the break that, Dennis, you're starting at square one.
Yep, back at square one.
Do you want to give us your bad beat? Is there a bad beat?
Well, I had Jack Hughes getting 2 shots on goal yesterday for the New Jersey Devils. The New Jersey Devils won that game 3-0, by the way. But they only had 16 shots on goal. Jack Hughes had 0. For a guy averaging over 3 a game. I'm like, oh, they won 3-0. He had to have had 2 shots on goal. No.
That will make me nervous about my pick. I'm just going to let you know for today. I had Mahomes 1+ touchdown.
Yeah,
lit it up.
Gimme.
Lit it up. Which gave me $12.50. Now I have a minus 500 bet, which would push it to $15 for today. By the way, I didn't realize the NBA doesn't play games today. I think it's because of Election Day.
It is true. That's something they instituted a couple years ago.
I already hate Tuesdays for this game because I'm not good, and I don't even think it's like a me thing. I think it's hard to bet hockey. Hockey it's like baseball in that it's, sometimes the better team gets caught because it's a long season and it just happens, and sometimes the better players just have an off day. Hockey's a hard thing to gamble on game to game. I think you can gamble on it season long, but game to game it's tough. I didn't like any of the action going on, so I'm going hockey. I'm taking a page out of Dennis's book.
All right.
I'm going to shots on goal.
Oh, yeah?
I am, but I'm picking a team that obviously I pay attention to quite a bit, that we cover quite a bit, that's playing tonight against the Flyers, that you can hear right here on 99.9 The Fan.
Oh, okay.
I'm taking Andrei Svechnikov.
Oh, okay.
To total 2+ shots on goal. So far in the 10 games that the Canes have played, he has taken at least 2 shots in 9 of them. In 8 of them, he's taken at least 3 shots. In 7 of them, he's taken at least 4 shots. In each of the last 8 games, this would have been a winning bet. And on top of that, the Flyers are 5th worst in goals allowed per game, and they give up the 9th most shots on goal per game across the league. Svech is leading the team in shots on goal for the Canes with 41, and it feels a little greedy recently. It just feels like he's hunting for his own goal. So go ahead and give me Svech to go 2+ shots on goal, and when that hits, I'll have $15 to bet tomorrow.
That's what, minus 550?
Minus 500 when I locked it in this morning.
Oh, okay. Well, I also have someone getting 2+ shots on goal. Sebastian Aho, minus 500 for 2+ shots on goal tonight. That $10 is going to turn into 12.
Not bad. Not bad.
I was like, if you're going to say Aho, I'll be like, well, now I don't want him to get 2 shots
it's
on
a
goal
wash.
if that was the case.
True, because then you want me to go back to 0.
Exactly.
It's a long month. I'm not going to start talking trash as of yet, but at some point I definitely will, if I keep up the hot streak, which I plan on at least through tomorrow, because Svech, he might score 2 goals. It might be that kind of night for Svech.
Hey, last time one of us bet on Svech to have 2 shots on goal, he'd score twice.
Exactly. So I'm riding that train as well. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll revisit that tomorrow right about this time. Right here, right now, it's time for Copper Drop.
You want true enlightenment? Well, I'm dropping.
I should acknowledge before we get into Copper Drop, at 4:33, just like every single weekday Canes game, we'll be taking first goal scorer predictions. 3 callers. We'll tell you when to open up the phone lines. We'll give you the number. You call in. You give us the player you think scores the first goal of the game for the Canes, and in what period you think that first goal comes. And if you get it right, you get a gift card to the ultimate sim racing experience at Apex Racing Lab. Rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab. Learn more at apexracinglab.com. FanOlSports.com. That's at 4:33, so a little over 10 minutes from now. We'll be hitting first goal scorer predictions, so have your dialing fingers ready if you want to participate and win that one. You could let us know in the YouTube comments right now. Won't be an official contestant, but for bragging rights, send them in YouTube comments at the moment if you want to.
All right, cop or drop. Adam Thielen was not traded today by the Carolina Panthers. Cop or drop. Adam Thielen is a Carolina Panther in 2025.
Drop.
Did they move on from him after this year?
I think they move on from him. I think part of it has to do with how the young guys finish this year. But I mean, we're seeing it, right? Have you heard the rowboat paradox, I think is what it's called? Which is if you have a boat made of wood and over 7 years you replace every single piece of wood on the boat.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Is it the same boat or is it a new boat? It feels like Dan Morgan and Dave Canales are kind of building their own boat, right? They're trying to shuffle through. They're getting guys that they choose in. Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis, their guys that they brought in free agency. Xavier Legette, Chuba Hubbard's a holdover, but it kind of feels like their guy. They're rebuilding the boat, if you will, and Adam Thielen he's part of Frank Reich's boat.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do bring him back because that's one less position you have to worry about going into next year, and you can focus on something else.
I think he's one of the few guys that can give them any kind of significant cap relief if you move on from. He's a little bit more expensive. That money when they signed him was what they expected to be wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, and he was 33 years old. For next year, it'll be wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, and he's 35 years old. So it's a little bit of a different beast there. So and by the way, I think he should go back to Minnesota. He's from Minnesota. He's a legend up there. They're a contender. Let him go up there and get the lack of attention that is fed to other wide receivers when Jordan Addison and obviously Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson are all on the field.
His cap hit for next year is $8.4 million. If they do let him go, his dead cap would be $5 million. So you save about $3.4 million.
Yeah, not a small amount.
All right, cop or drop. Bryce Young starts this Sunday. Cop or drop.
I'm copping, and I better be right. I'm copping, or else I'm dropping Dave Canales. That's the either or there. He won a game. He's a billion times younger. It's a young person takeover. You know that Andy Dalton isn't your quarterback of the future. I've challenged. Give me one good reason why Andy Dalton should start. I can't find one. And I pride myself on looking at things from all angles. I pride myself on looking at things, hunting for opposing views. And I don't have one. So if there's no good reason to start Andy Dalton, you start Bryce Young, with which we could come up with a bunch of good reasons, and I've done so here on the show. Bryce Young, and it's in Germany. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but it's morning football. I want to wake up, and if I watch a game, I want to watch Bryce Young rather than Andy Dalton.
All right, cop or drop. Let's actually switch gears over to the Carolina Hurricanes.
What's up, Canes?
Pyotr Kochetkov in net tonight. Cop or drop. Spencer Martin starts one game this week. Cop or drop. They play tonight, they play Thursday, and they play Saturday.
I am copping, and if you make me choose, Thursday. Sometimes you just look at the calendar, the way the schedule works out, and it's that one. It's like it's glowing. Pyotr got the day off the ice yesterday. He's playing today. He's 25. Young guy. He can play nearly every day. But there's just no one in hockey anymore playing every single day for any extended period of time. Freddie Anderson, as far as we know, he's week to week, and we haven't heard when that week that he comes back is going to be. So you have to plan for Pyotr Kochetkov to be able to stand up for an extended absence. And if that means Spencer Martin takes a Thursday game, that means Spencer Martin takes a Thursday game. You get Pyotr back for Saturday, you go from there. So yeah, they'll have to give Spencer Martin. By the way, that's why Spencer Martin's in your program. He's got a little bit of experience. He had a shutout last year. You roll him out there and then you back him up.
Cop or drop. The Carolina Hurricanes will have a 40-goal scorer this season. Cop or drop.
Whew. I like that you didn't make me choose who. Yeah, I'm going to cop. I'm going to be optimistic here. I'm going to cop that they have a 40-goal scorer. I'm trying to think if anyone's on pace. Roslovic and Natchez both have 6 through 10. What is that? Bad math. I'm not going to do it on air. But yes, I'm going to say they do have a 40-goal scorer.
Yeah, Roslovic this season has 6. Svechnikov has 5. So Svech is actually on pace for 41 goals. Martin Natchez is on pace for about 48. Same thing with Jack Roslovic as of right now.
You know what? I'm gonna say, you want a bold prediction out of that group?
Give it to me.
They will have a 40-goal scorer. It will not be any of those 3.
Okay, who is it then?
Can I give you 2 names and one of?
Okay.
Aho or Jarvis.
All right.
I mean, I'm not breaking news there. They were the 2 leading goal scorers last year. But I do think there's going to be hot streaks where each of them score, goals in 6 out of 10 games in their own right. It's not just Natchez that can get hot. So yes, I'm expecting those 2 to pick it up, and I'll say one of them gets there.
All right, cop or drop. Duke and UNC both started the season in the top 10 of the rankings. Cop or drop, one of those teams finishes outside of the top 10 at the end of the year. Cop or drop.
I won't say that, so dropping that.
Okay.
I do think one and or both will drop out of the top 10 at some point.
Okay. As I said, finish the year.
Yeah, so they'll then play their way back up. And give credit to the ACC. Give credit to the ACC teams in the Triangle. They don't schedule their non-conference games with the expectation that they're just going to pile up wins against pushovers. They schedule some really tough games. Then we know that the ACC grind happens. So they'll drop their games. They'll lose a few. But by the end, when it's all said and done, especially once they get the tournaments to really make their mark, I believe both of those teams will be tested enough to be in the top 10.
All right, cop or drop. The ACC gets 7 schools into the NCAA tournament. Cop or drop.
So this is a prediction, not what I think should happen.
Yes.
I'm dropping it.
Really?
I think they should. I mean, you know how I feel about the ACC. They're the best basketball conference in the country. What, they have 5 teams last year? What they have the year before? 5? I
think it was 5 again. Yeah.
Like what would make us think that the committee is suddenly going to go, actually, let's put in a whole bunch of you. The best indicator of future results is past results, and the past results say the committee's for some reason down on the ACC. You get 5 teams in, they'll get 4 in the Sweet 16, but I don't see them getting 7, 8 or whatever of entries just because it's an ACC hating world out there.
I don't
know how, but I'm blaming Florida State.
That's fair. That's okay. We can accept that. I think, if I remember correctly, I saw an article, it kind of flew under the radar a few weeks back, that for net rankings, they aren't using Ken Palm numbers anymore to factor into net rankings. The NCAA is not. So I'm wondering how that's going to impact, net rankings.
Well, I hope
and those
Ken
kinds of
Palm
things.
wasn't against the ACC because Ken Pomeroy went to Virginia Tech, the guy that created Ken Palm.
Well, that was Big East back then.
Oh, you think that's it?
That's it.
He's bitter?
Yeah.
Interesting move there.
See, that's
Ken Palm,
why
I see what you're doing.
That's why Big East had all those teams in. Well, just what I'm saying.
Big East is actually the only conference that I'm not really upset with.
Very true.
I mean, UConn, they're carrying the flag quite well for the Big East. So hard to argue with them. I've got some issues with the Mountain West. I've got some issues with some of the other power conferences. But the Big East, they did some things last year. I'm right with them.
Mountain West, so great. That's why everyone's leaving their conference. Go figure. All right, cop or drop. A little NFL flavor for you, Tim. Dennis Allen was fired yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
2 head coaches have been fired so far this season. Cop or drop. 2 more head coaches are fired before the end of the year in the NFL. Cop or drop.
I don't like doing this, but yes, I'm copping. I hate talking about people's job security and it's their livelihood, their dream.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look around, Antonio Pierce is already firing assistants and shuffling, seems like deck chairs on the Titanic. Doug Peterson with Jacksonville, things are not going particularly well there.
That's the one I'm feeling.
You might be 2 losses away from Jerry Jones saying it's Mike McCarthy's fault that we're not winning the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
There's some things going on around the league that it's coaching is such a tough job in that case where, you can go from the cat's meow to the outhouse in about 2 years, and some of these coaches are testing that time, seeing if they can't break it. Doug Peterson might be the best example. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia, and 3 years later was fired. You win a Super Bowl in Philadelphia, the first thing everybody says is, "Oh, you're the man." They built a statue of him outside the Philadelphia stadium. Now he's coming in as an opposing coach to coach in a stadium where he has a statue outside. That doesn't happen too often. So, yes, I would say 2+ end up losing their job.
All right, so Doug Peterson. Oh, what?
I was just going to say it's almost time. I got excited.
Okay. Well, in that case.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I like first goal scorer competitions. Phone lines are open now, 919-860-5326. It's the Easter Automotive Group hotline for our first goal scorer predictions. Call in right now to give us your prediction for who scores the first goal of the game for the Canes tonight against Philly at home against the Flyers, and in what period that goal happens. So who scores it and in what period? You need both of those things. If you get it right, you win an ultimate sim racing experience at Apex Racing Lab. The number to call in is 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. I'll tell you a little bit more about that sim racing experience. It's the ultimate sim racing experience at Apex Racing Lab. And you don't just get to say ultimate for nothing, right? They earn it. Go ahead and rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Experience the ultimate thrill with 20 cutting-edge simulators, expert instructors, and world-class virtual tracks. It's all located in Cary's McGregor Village in Greater Raleigh. Visit Apex Racing Lab today and unleash your racing passion. Learn more at Apex Racing Lab. We have our 3 contestants on the line. One of them could potentially get themselves that prize, but they have to get it right. Who scores the first goal for the Canes, and in what period do they score it? We'll start with Chad. Chad, thank you very much for calling in. Who scores the first goal, and in what period?
I'm going to go with Jarvie in the first.
Jarvie in the first. Do you want to give any more specifics just for bragging rights?
I'll say it'll be on a power play.
That would be nice. I will say this. Philly doesn't do much well this year. They are surprisingly good on the penalty kill. 88%, fourth in the league. But
Tortorella coach teams block a lot of shots.
But just about everything else they're struggling with. Appreciate it, Chad. Stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to get from you. Robert in Wendell. Robert, are you there? And if so, who scores the first goal and in what period?
Yes, I am. Orlov, first period.
So you think he rides the hot hand after 2 goals yesterday or last game?
Absolutely. Just keeps going with it.
He's definitely hunting for his shot. Appreciate it, Robert. Go ahead and stay on the line. And that leaves Andy in Charlotte. Hey, shout out from Charlotte. Andy, who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period?
Man, so I want to say Marty Party just because he's been on fire lately. But, I'm going to go with O-Captain, my captain, Jordan Stahl in the first.
Stahl in the first. That's how the season started with a Stahl goal. So solid prediction there. Appreciate it. Stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to get from you. Dennis, before you start grabbing that info,
Sure.
Do you want to go ahead and give us your prediction?
I will. I'm actually going to go ahead and go with Jalen Chatfield in the first. Jalen Chatfield on a rush in the first period.
I very, very strongly considered Chatfield in the first, and I'll tell everybody why here. There are 4 players on the Canes right now that do not have a goal scored yet. Or like in their main, obviously like you go to prospects or whatever and goalies, but you know what I mean. Not getting too crazy here with the details. 3 defensemen, Burns, Chatfield, Slavin, and Jordan Martinook. So I'm going with the who's due. I think Chatfield is due. So I almost went Chatfield, but then I got to thinking like, no, defenseman, not scoring goals, it's not as big a deal. I'm going Jordan Martinook, so I thought the caller was going to really ruin my big reveal there when he said I'm thinking about going Marty Party. Jordan Martinook, I'm going first period. I'm going he gets off the schneid, did some math, which is always dangerous for me. Last season, Jordan Martinook scored 14 goals over 82 games. That averages out to about 1 every 5.8 games. We're now going on game 11 tonight. He has yet to score a goal, which tells me one thing. Jordan Martinook is due. You know he's going to do the things that Rod Brindamore likes. You know that he's going to be in position. You know he's going to be doing the dirty work. You know he's going to be doing all of the things that Jordan Martinook does that the Canes love so much. And because of that, I think it's like a right place, right time goal, maybe off a rebound, maybe a goalie gets out of position, something where it doesn't have to be a clapper from distance, doesn't have to be any kind of crazy, backhand flip, no lacrosse goals is basically what I'm saying. But I think he gets a right place, right time goal, first period. Jordan Martinook scores it for the Canes. And yes, this is a bit of wishful thinking. This is a bit of me saying, hey, I hope my prediction comes right because I think Martinook needs one. He has, like I said, he has yet to score this season. I think he needs to see the back of the net once or twice. So Jordan Martinook, first period.
Oh, I like that one. I like it. Ooh. Clinton on our YouTube live chat says Nature's first period breakaway.
Feels about right.
Yeah.
If this were first assist prediction,
yeah. Give me Nature's all day.
Give me Nature's from now until it's not true. He's just he's hot right now. From Zoolander, that Natchez, he's so hot right now.
That actually could be like a fun way if we ever want to spice this up. All right, first secondary assist of the game. Give me the name and who gets the first secondary assist. Not primary. I need a secondary.
Yeah. I mean, we could the prediction game. I don't think it'll get stale because goal scoring. It's like home runs and touchdowns. Everybody likes goals. Yeah. But if it does, there's a lot of different ways we could do it. Right? You could. Do it like spades, right? You could go like double nil. You could go. I want Martinook and nobody on the assist.
Oh, okay.
You could ramp it up if you wanted to double and triple down. But we're not doing that. We're not. All of the details that we give, that's just for bragging rights and fun. The nitty gritty is person and period. You just need to pick the player that scores the first goal and in what period. Chad, our caller, was on Jarvie in the first. Robert Orlov in the first. Andy Stahl in the first. Dennis, the producer, who's not in the running for the prize, but obviously for bragging rights, has Jalen Chatfield in the first. I have Jordan Martinook in the first. We're all very optimistic about scoring early. And if you want to get your prediction in for bragging rights and for the glory that comes with being right and just saying you know hockey, you can send them in on our YouTube comments. 99.9 The Fan on YouTube, live stream, always active.
By the way, one of our listeners has said Martin Natchez scored in the first. You know what the most impressive stat probably about Natchez this season? He's +9 in plus-minus. He's tied for the team lead in plus-minus. It's he and Eric Robinson, whom the two of them have been skating on the same line for the past 5-6 games. It's like, go figure.
Yeah, that's sometimes those plus-minus. If you just see substitution trends, it used to be who was it? It was Mario Chalmers. Mario Chalmers had one of the highest plus-minuses over like a month when he was playing with the Miami Heat. And then you looked at it, and he was always subbed in with Dwayne Wade, LeBron, and Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, look at that. His plus-minus. Wonder why Chalmers must be really good.
It's like, huh.
So no offense to Robinson. I know he's done some really good things. He was on the pass to Natchez on the goal, their most recent game. But if I have to attribute that plus-minus to somebody, I'm giving a lot of credit to the guy that's leading the team in points and goals and is one of the hotter players in the entire league.
I think Natchez last year was a -9.
Well, that's
points.
why this offseason was so dramatic, Dennis.
I know.
If he would have just played like he's playing now last year, well, we wouldn't be where we are. He wouldn't be playing on a 2-year or whatever deal he ended up with. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We brought up the YouTube comments. We have a feedback frenzy coming up next. Your best and most insightful comments from all over the internet brought to the show for us to react to coming up.
Move your sports day forward.
The Canes need to change their season slogan from raise up to sup. After that terrible opener, they hit the road and come back a brand new team. Marty Natchez, practically an early season MVP candidate. And everyone's afraid of the Ghost. Shane Gostisbehere's power play snipes. Yeah, Ghost, we see ya.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Adam Golden in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. When I say everything for the exterior of your home, I mean it. So tell me everything that you have for the exterior of my home.
there's so many things I can't even remember the entire list. You know,
Good
it's
luck.
like thanks for the test here. But windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, gutter guards, railings, you name it. We have the exterior home improvement you're looking for. The main thing is we're a one-stop shop, right? So you don't have to call 2 or 3 different contractors if you need your roof done and you need your windows done. You can call one company and have it all done.
I like that. French doors.
French doors.
I like French doors. I can't speak French, but I like French doors. Can I tell you, back in the day, you guys did French doors and every window in a home I used to own.
Well, thank you for your business.
It was incredible. Can I also tell you that it was done in like 2 days? Is that even possible?
It is possible.
How do you guys do work that fast?
We're good.
You're
We're
fast.
good.
That's Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. They do the best work in the industry and the best customer service in the industry as well. AluminumCompany.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Train heating and cooling systems are engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for a feedback frenzy. This is where Dennis dives deep into our YouTube comments of all the conversations we've had over the last week or so. He picks some of his favorite comments from you, from the listeners. He brings them up on air and we react. It's our time to rebuttal, but it also is our time to encourage everyone to head to our YouTube channel. Subscribe, like videos, share videos, set your alerts. That way you won't miss anything, and if you're in the comment section, you might just hear your comment right here live on air. Dennis, what do you have?
All right, this comes from the conversation we had yesterday regarding Dave Canales trusting young players.
Mm-hmm.
This one comes from Jeffrey Mitchell. Jeffrey says, agreed. Canales needs to trust his young playmakers, including Bryce.
Ooh, I like the including Bryce. Because I think it's 100% obvious that, like, Jalen Coker, Xavier Legette, Jatavian Sanders, they are in need of more trust because, quite frankly, most of the time when they've been given the opportunity to earn trust, they've done so, right? With the more guys, the more impressive they've been. So those are easy. Bryce at times has been given more opportunity and it's come back to bite them, right? You think of early this season, you think at times late last year. Right, you've given him enough, given him enough opportunity or given him enough trust, and he's come back to burn you a little bit. But I do agree, like there's nothing to lose this season. So if it comes back to burn you, it doesn't hurt as much as if you're a contender and a couple of bad games if you give him opportunities lead to missed playoffs. You're already out of the playoffs. Matter of fact. Too many wins will probably upset the fan base because then you start looking at picking 10th rather than picking in the top 5. You've already dropped from 1 to 4 this past weekend in the draft.
There's still time.
There is still time, and pretty much everyone has 2 wins. That's even fighting for the number 1 pick. So You're not behind by much. But yes, I agree. Give the young guys the opportunity, see what they do with it, evaluate everybody at the end of the year.
All right, this one actually on that same conversation comes from Blackout with 2 C's. Says, don't forget, rookie head coach also.
Ooh, good point. Good point. That's one that's one where it's like you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Shout out to the commenter. There's nothing to add there other than I suppose the grace and the leeway that you would give to Xavier Legette for catching the ball and then having it ripped out of his hands. You should also give to Dave Canales for not maybe showing the confidence in his young quarterback that I so desperately think Bryce Young and the team needs.
Mm-hmm.
Allow him to make mistakes in the same way. Coaches are usually treated a little differently, but it's a good point. Maybe they shouldn't be.
All right, this goes off the conversation. Let's actually switch over to college basketball real fast. Your thesis statement on UNC basketball, Hubert Davis not really trusting the young guys yesterday.
Very similar conversation.
This actually comes from Michael Daniels, who I think brings up a pretty good point. The freshmen have probably never seen a zone before, which is something that Elon was running yesterday. He ran a lot of zone. Said the freshmen have probably never seen a zone before, but they need to get used to it. Maybe that's the reason why you didn't probably see some of those young guys late yesterday.
First of all, Elon was I don't say this all negative. They're a weird team.
Yeah.
They had a random 7'4" guy who was looked like he weighed 160 pounds. They had twins, which is always confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Twins, by the way, different eligibility. One of them's a sophomore, one of them's a junior, one of them's a transfer coming in. One was here last year. The Elon team is a strange one, and you're right. They did switch up the defense. They did play a lot of zone, partially because they couldn't keep up with UNC's athletes. But like, I do not. It's Elon running the zone. You probably want those guys to get reps against zones in game situations before it's being played by, I don't know, like Virginia or something, before it's being played by the lanky super athlete from Florida State. Like if you struggle with a zone, ACC teams they may not do it as their main thing, but they can call a good 2-3 if they see you struggling with it. Ian Jackson and Drake Powell are 5 stars. You don't think they saw a zone on any circuit anywhere at the high school level?
I don't know.
Preseason, you couldn't be like, hey, scout team, run a zone just in case Elon throws it at us.
Yeah, but actually seeing it in game, there's always that in game adjustment with it.
I'll use another school as an example that UNC doesn't like being compared to. What happens if Duke faces a zone? Are they suddenly going to pull Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple? No, they're going to leave them in there because they're their most talented, shooters. They're the future lottery picks, future first-round picks. Not saying that Drake Powell and Ian Jackson are that or aren't that. I'm just saying, I don't know, really good basketball players against overmatched teams should probably be able to find a way.
All right, next one. This was actually regarding NC State football.
Okay.
This one comes from Juice Man.
Juice Man.
Great name.
What's up, Juice?
As far as I'm concerned, State needs to start putting their bye week around week 3 or 4. The last 2 years, we've seemed to figure out a lot over our bye and start rolling. They finally figured out Smothers is their best bet out of the backfield, and Waters is the late game guy. No one wants to tackle him in the fourth quarter. We got all the talent at wide receiver, but we need to focus on the run game more.
I love this logic. We always play well after our bye, so let's put our bye in week 2.
Yeah.
It's the same logic that comes with after every airplane crash, they always find the little black box.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you build the whole plane out of the little black box? It's like I get there is some logic in there. You need, like, the reason why after the bye they always play better is because they've completely evaluated their team. They've shown all their flaws, and then in the bye week they fix them, or they try to. If the bye week, like if you played the Ireland game and then you had in week 0, then you had a bye kind of week 1, you wouldn't really know what to fix yet, right? It would be, it's. I hear you, but it's a little confusing. What I will say is, I love the idea of the speed back early and the power back late. I think unless you have one of those rare running backs that can do both, the Derrick Henrys that are like, I'm going to pound you for 5 yards a carry and then also get the 84-yard touchdown run to seal it in the fourth. I do like the idea of, speed to tire you out, a little bit of thunder and lightning going on, and then the power back to end it. But yeah, I'm not sure, like, hey, we always play better after the bye. Let's just move up the bye. Fully solves all your problems.
There's only so much you can actually control with that because the ACC puts out the schedule for conference games, so you're kind of at the mercy of the league, and you have to piece in your non-conference around that. So it's hard to have.
I wonder if there's like an application process to play week 0.
Maybe there is,
because I don't see why every team wouldn't want to if that means you get an extra bye, space out your season a little bit.
Possibly, but I mean, maybe some teams don't want to play that game so early in the year. I don't know, but nonetheless, I think you're at the mercy of the ACC in this case of NC State. It's kind of is what it is.
Yep.
But I mean, if every coach had it their way, they will play all their non-conference games first, bye week, then play conference.
Or maybe like for like I remember Alabama used to always play like Austin Peay right before Auburn in the Iron Bowl. I think some teams might pick a specific game that they'd like to have the bye before. But again, you can't always control that kind of thing.
All right, final one. This one regards the Carolina Hurricanes. This one comes from Flavorist Mage.
All right, Flavorist.
As a lifelong fan,
Flavorist.
As a lifelong fan, I have my doubts going into this season, and I still have my concerns. However, the youth is developing more and more, and what we really needed is Natchez and Svechnikov to step up, and they have done more than that so far. Gotta love Ghost Bear also.
There it is. I still think there's another level for Svech to reach. But Martin Natchez, you can't ask for more. And I'll agree with you. I don't know if it was like trepidation or worry or concern, but it was definitely there was unknown coming into this season. I talked about that a lot preseason because last year there was almost no unknown. It was Orlov coming in was the new guy and Michael Bunting, but Orlov we at least had seen in the NHL for a decade, so you had a pretty good feeling of what kind of player you were getting, even if he was new. And everybody else was coming back. Everybody else was a Kane just returning. This year there was a lot more new, and it included guys like Jackson Blake, or whatever rookie I thought was going to fill that spot, right? One of those three, who we hadn't seen for a decade. And some of the young guys and some guys playing maybe different roles. And it was there was a lot of unknown, which just brings on a case of, again, I don't know if it's concern, but just maybe excitement, maybe uneasiness. Kind of everybody resists change at a different level. But I'd be remiss. I'd be lying if I said I saw the way this was going to go through the first 10 games. Sitting at 8-2, heading into a divisional match against the Flyers with the guys that are playing really well. You could have got pretty good odds from me on those things happening. So I encourage everybody to enjoy it, I guess would be the way to say that, because it's not something that happens super easily, I guess you could say. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. And yes, that includes Gordon Miller, who's been doing no closing cost loans since 1987. It is, do we have to say it? It's an election year. It is election day. And if you think anybody out there knows exactly how that is going to affect things when it comes to the market, it's quite frankly untrue. It is always one of those. See, I don't even know how to say it, to be completely honest. Why? Because it's volatile. If this person wins, this is going to happen. If this person wins, that's going to happen. You need to know, you need to invest in this if this person wins. You need to invest in that if that person wins. It is basically something that I and most people maybe all the people can't quite put their finger on. But what I can tell you is Miller Lending sets you up to be flexible, sets you up to be adaptable, sets you up to make sure you are taken care of no matter what happens. It's a no closing cost loan. So if rates go up tomorrow, go ahead and refinance. Don't refinance. Keep your rate locked in. If rates go down tomorrow, go ahead and refinance with no cost out of your pocket. It's really a lovely way to think about it, and it really prevents, I should say, a whole bunch of worrying and a whole bunch of problems, which I think we all really appreciate. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Oh, by the way, Miller Lending is a equal opportunity lender, and my computer just froze. So we'll go ahead and pull this up quickly, hopefully. We will work this out because there is a little number that I have to read for you. Is an equal opportunity, an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. There you go. Check them out, millerlending.com, 919-447-3377. As we stumble through that, we power through. Starting five coming up next. Stick around.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk. Panthers Playbook. The Paw Print. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
Snap. Give it to Chuba. Chuba inside the 10. 5. Slides into the end zone. Touchdown Panthers. He spikes the ball. And Carolina's got a lead.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Morning people wake up for peace and quiet. McDonald's breakfast people, we wake up for the sweet rush of getting that warm, delicious breakfast right before it ends.
Enjoy a savory sausage McMuffin with a fluffy egg for only $2.50. Be a McDonald's breakfast person. Get the most important deal of the day right after you wake up. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
'Tis the season for family and friends. 'Tis the season for gifting. And 'tis the season for making holiday dreams come true. 'Tis the season for using the old-timey contraction 'tis. And 'tis the time of year for holiday scratch-offs. With over $85 million in total prizes, 'tis the best gift of all.
'Tis the season to gift endless joy with holiday scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.06 to 9.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Looking for a new vehicle? Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford is one of the only dealerships where you can shop all four brands under one roof. Get unbeatable deals on new and pre-owned vehicles. Our expert service department keeps you on the road, and our full-body shop handles any repairs. It's all here at Wilkinson, where quality and convenience come first. Drive with confidence. Drive with Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC on NC 87 South in Sanford or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
Here's Megan with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Are sleepless nights affecting your life? Parkway Sleep Health Centers can help. We've treated sleep disorders in the Triangle and beyond for over 20 years. We offer sleep studies, office visits, CPAP machines, supplies, and more. And our streamlined process allows us to see you sooner and usually saves hundreds of dollars.
End sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. It's been warm and humid this afternoon, staying that way tonight. Fog likely to develop in spots, the low around 60. Partly cloudy and warm for your Wednesday, the high up to 82. Rain rolls in Wednesday night and Thursday.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell up 427 points today to 42,221. Market update brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to The Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, everybody, before we start the starting five, it is a hockey night in Carolina. The Canes and Flyers will be taking to the ice about 7 o'clock, a puck drop, and that means you can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan, but also about 6:30, Stormwatch featuring our very own Adam Gold. As I said, that's at 6:30, so it'll get you set for the game, and then the game will be right here on 99.9 The Fan. Now, without further ado, starting five, starting with number 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Play action on first down. Quick throw to Mingo in the flat right side. He is dropped by Canales at midfield on the far sideline. A yard on the play.
That was Jonathan Mingo's last catch as a Carolina Panther, unless there's something crazy that happens later in his career. He's traded. Jonathan Mingo, former second-round pick from the 2023 draft for the Panthers, traded to the Cowboys. They sent Mingo and a 7th-round pick to the Cowboys in exchange for a 4th-round pick. Today, that's a good move.
Very good.
Today, that's a good move. Mingo was not in your plans. That I just said that was the most recent catch for Jonathan Mingo. That was 4 games ago, and that was the only catch he had in that game.
October 23rd against the Falcons. 1 catch, 1 yard.
So that's a long time.
Yeah.
To have 1 catch for a player that would be in your plans. Like if you were planning on him being a part of your foundation, you'd get him the ball more. You'd get him more opportunities. So now you send him back and you get a 4th, essentially the value of a 5th-round pick back if you look at trade value charts jumping from the 7th to the 4th. The reason why I say today that's a good move is because the Mingo draft pick is still a miss. You drafted him 39th overall in the NFL draft, and it shouldn't, but it does sting more, the fact that it was seen as a reach then. Because you don't want your GMs, you don't want your front office making picks based on, oh, this is the pick that nobody will make fun of me for. You want them picking who they think is going to be the best player. However, when it feels like everyone's like, oh, that's a reach, he's a raw prospect at number 39, and then it turns out, oh, he doesn't develop into anything. It's like, everybody saw it and you didn't see it? But you can't think like that today. One of my favorite phrases is, what's the first thing you do when you realize you're making a mistake?
Stop making the mistake.
Stop making the mistake. Yeah, everybody wants to try to solve it. It's like, whoa, before you solve it, you got to stop making the mistake, right? You can't build a ladder to get out of the hole until you put the shovel down. This is the Panthers putting the shovel down. They have to find value in the draft. And over the last 5 years, up until this most recent draft, which I actually think they did very, very well on, they had not been getting value out of it. This is we talked about it earlier. The 2023 draft, there was Bryce Young, which obviously you'd go back, you'd do that differently. There's Jonathan Mingo, there's DJ Johnson, there's Chandler Zavala, there's a bunch of guys who there was Jamie Robinson. There's a bunch of guys who you'd go back and do differently. You'd make a different pick. However, can't change that now. All you can do is look at the value of your players and try to get the most back. Jonathan Mingo, I don't believe is worth a 4th for 7th swap. I don't think he's that valuable in the NFL, despite being under contract for 2.5 more years. Yet the Panthers got somebody, Jerry Jones, to pay that price. That is a good move today. Now it's about, I'm going to sound like a coach here, it's about stacking days. Make a good move tomorrow. Right? Make a good decision the next day. Do well in Germany. Develop one of your young guys in the Germany game. Give Bryce another opportunity. Let's get a good decision a day. And then once you get used to that, it's like ab workouts, right? Let's do 50 sit-ups today, and then 50 sit-ups tomorrow, And then 50 sit-ups the next day. And if it feels good, we're going to 60 the next day. Let's do one good decision today, another good decision the next day. And if you get used to that, all right, let's do two good decisions the following day. Let's build something here, Panthers. Myron Rolle grew up in the town I grew up in. If you don't know who Myron Rolle is, he was draft pick of the Titans, I believe. He
played at Florida State.
Played at Florida State. He's
Defensive back.
number one recruit in the country. And he left Florida State after his junior year, not to go pro, to go be a Rhodes Scholar. And now he's a neurosurgeon after his NFL career came to a close. He's one of the most impressive individuals I've ever been around. He wrote a book called The 2% Way, and it's basically all about just getting 2% better each and every day. The Panthers just get 2% smarter as a front office, 2% better at improving your roster. It doesn't have to be every day, every week. You've checked off your 2% for this week. The Mingo trade is good for this week. Start figuring out a way to get better for next week. That's all I'm asking. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Now Gregory has it ripped away. O'Connell picks his pocket. Center of the floor, scoops it right. Taylor, Euro step righty, layup, around and down.
NC State basketball, men's basketball, in their double banner night when they hung their ACC championship banner and Final Four banner from last year. They beat South Carolina upstate to debut their season. It was all good. Let's just. It's game 1. It's a small sample size. It's all we have to go off of. So we're going to have some conversations about this team. But they smacked around South Carolina upstate. They took care of business. They got the W. They had fun. They saw the banners. The crowd was ignited. It's all good, okay? If I were to nitpick, it's a philosophical question. Have you heard the saying about quarterbacks? If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. If you have 9 scorers on your basketball team, do you have any scorers? That's kind of the question about this NC State team. They had, I think it was 8 guys score between 8 and 14 points in the game. And it felt like any of them could have gone for 14 and any of them could have gone for 8, right? It just depends on where the ball was when the shot was taken. Ben Middlebrooks, one of their returners from last year's magical run, big guy, talked about having scoring up and down throughout their lineup. Here he is.
How many guys scored at double-digit points? I mean, I think we had like 40-something, 50-something points off the bench. So, I mean, again, where I feel like we have some of the most competitive practices in the country. I mean, we go at each other every day. I mean, you see different guys being successful against each other. I mean, in so many different skill sets and things like that. So I think we got a lot of big things to come for a lot of different guys.
Which is great. Every coach will say they want every guy on their team to be able to score the basketball. You don't want any one-dimensional players. But I wonder if they don't have that, if they do or don't have that guy. Like if everyone can go for 14, but nobody can go for 27, like where does that fall? Because last year, DJ Horn and DJ Burns, they had it, right? They could light it up for 6 minutes and score 12 points. That's again, I'm nitpicking here. No reasons to be running to sound any alarms. But coming into the year, I think that's the question they have to answer is, can you win high-level ACC basketball without a dramatic leading scorer? Or do they have a dramatic leading scorer somewhere in there and we just haven't seen it yet? Could it be Jaden Taylor, who's the 3rd leading returning scorer? Could it be Dontrez Styles, who's the incoming transfer, spent time at Georgetown prior to that UNC? Could it be those guys? Could it be Michael O'Connell? I don't know. I guess we'll have to stick around to find out. It's like a tease on an old school sitcom. As number 4, let's get to number 3.
To the left to Cooper Flagg. Low with the dribble, into the paint. Cooper left it down low for Malawach. Goes up with the right hand and scores. What a dish inside for Cooper Flagg.
Duke beat Maine last night. UMaine, University of Maine. I don't have to get into specifics, but I played the worst game of my college football career against Maine. So thanks, Duke, for handling my business. I may not have been able to get it done, but they did. They smacked around Maine, which was, by the way, expected. The Duke is a top 10 team in the country. Here's my takeaway from Duke. There's more to be intrigued by about that Duke roster than just Cooper Flagg. The world is intrigued by Cooper Flagg because he's number one on every draft board. He's on all the preseason lists. But, we've seen teams have that one special NBA obvious draft pick and not have a ton of success. Ben Simmons comes to mind, right? He was the number one prospect going into the year, went to LSU. He was the number one prospect coming out of the year. He was the number one pick darn near immediately once he started playing for the Sixers, was an all-star for 3 consecutive years. LSU didn't win a ton and didn't have a lot built around him. Baylor. I don't know if everybody saw the Gonzaga-Baylor game to start.
Did not see that.
Gonzaga waxed them.
Oh, did they?
Yes. But Baylor has VJ Edgecombe, who both, I believe, Carolina and Duke recruited heavily. He was a 5-star. Wasn't enough to run with Gonzaga, but he did get one of the highlight moments. This is a side note. This was, I'll just say this is kind of hilarious, but also you might feel for the kid. Mark Few is the coach of Gonzaga. His son, I believe his name is John Few, freshman on the roster. So they wax Baylor. First game, Coach Few goes, "Hey, son, get in the game." Very first thing his son tries to do is stop a fast break dunk from 5-star freshman VJ Edgecombe, who's down by like 30. So he's not going to dunk this with like, "Hey, we're both cool here." He's going to dunk this with like, "I am frustrated and embarrassed in my first college game." And John Few, the son of the coach, got leveled. Lesson learned, don't jump. But anyway.
Jeremy Roach, also Baylor.
Also Baylor.
From Duke.
I only saw that one highlight, so I don't know. He may have had a good game. He may not have played. I really have no idea. Going back to what I'm saying, though, it's more than Cooper Flagg with Duke. Con Knipple looked intriguing as a scorer. Like I don't need to play above the rim. You're just not going to be able to stop me score.
He might lead their team in scoring this season.
Would not be surprised. And part of that is because I think Cooper Flagg is going to look to impact the game in a bunch of other ways. The highlight Dennis just played was Cooper Flagg setting up Kamen Malawash. And Cooper talked after the game about impacting the game beyond scoring.
It's kind of just something that's always been a part of my game. It's just trying to impact it in a lot of different ways. Where it's just making the right play, finding an open teammate, rebounding, whatever it is. It's something that our team in general has kind of been priding ourselves on, is kind of outside of the shots, 94% of the game, or only about 6% of the game is really shots, making or missing shots. So just priding ourselves on the 94% of the game that doesn't revolve around shots. So rebounding, playing good defense, playing with energy, that type of thing that we can control.
I've said this preseason. Cooper Flagg does all of those things, right? He's a rebounder, assist guy. He had 3 steals in the game. Gave one back right away with a turnover, but we won't talk about that. Or we could talk about that, but that's just not the point I'm trying to make. The thing I like most about Cooper Flagg is when he gets within 12 feet of the bucket, he's trying to dunk it. And I think that is a tone setter for your team. He wants to dunk. He wants to dunk on you. He wants to draw fouls. He wants and ones. For somebody he's 6'9" and kind of thin, doesn't shy away from the contact when driving to the bucket. You saw the one dunk last night, a 2-foot, tomahawk down the lane. I think you're going to see more of that because anytime he gets close, he's trying to stuff it, which, like I said, it's a tone setter. That's number 3. What about number 2?
Just the two of us. And R.J. Davis right back to Cadeau. Well, he's going to pull a 3. Yeah, why not? Let's start it with a triple as Cadeau knocks it in from the right wing.
UNC had the toughest night of the 3 triangle teams last night. They were actually losing to Elon with about 6.5 minutes to go in the game, 71-69. And then R.J. Davis, their reigning ACC player of the year, said, "All right, guys, throw it over here. I got it." And they went on to win by double digits and wasn't exactly stressful in the final minutes. But still, trailing to Elon down 2 with 6.5 minutes to go in the game isn't how you draw up your debut. It is a double-edged sword here, okay? There's pros and cons. Cons is you wish your team executed better as the game went along to not be in that situation. The pro is that's kind of why you have R.J. Davis. Right, if you're a team that doesn't have R.J. Davis, you get down to 2 at that point in time, you go, there might be panic. right? You get down to a team that you should be blowing out at that point in time. There could be – everybody wants to be a hero. That happens sometimes in basketball, right? The coach calls a timeout. You're in the huddle. I want the ball and I'm going to score. No, I want – hey, draw a play for like everybody because they wanted, be the guy with the shot. R.J. Davis steadied the ship, calming influence, goes ahead, makes the plays they need to win the game. After the game, R.J. Davis talked about the things that their team could learn from that opener against Elon.
This is a great film for us to watch and to see where we did wrong and what we did right. And then, go into tomorrow, use that as motivation, going to the next games. Because we had a lot of great possessions where we capitalized, but we also had a lot of bad ones that Coach Davis didn't really like. So this is definitely a learning lesson for us.
Do you know what are the best kind of lessons to learn? The lessons you can learn after a win. You'll hear me say this during college basketball season a bunch. I think it's significantly easier to coach college kids, college players, college student athletes after a loss. I've been in those college locker rooms. You have everyone's attention. Every coach, tell me what I got to do to make sure that never happens again. What do I like? Film tomorrow early. After a win, a little bit more difficult. Sometimes a coach can play that fence. They can ride it perfectly. And you get a win, but you get the attention that you usually only get after a loss. And sometimes losing or trailing by 2 to Elon with 6.5 minutes to go is what it takes, right? Because everyone at North Carolina had we're good, but the little bit of like, we better be good. This better not happen. We lose to Elon, we're going to be a laughing stock. Like, you have that attention. What do we have to do to make sure that doesn't happen again? So I think Hubert Davis and R.J. Davis, by the way, as kind of he's kind of like a demi-coach or a demigod is someone that is more than man but less than God, right? In like Greek mythology. Yeah. R.J. Davis has to be like a demi-coach. Like he's more than a player but less than a coach. Right, he's a fifth-year player. Usually you don't have those as far as guys that have played as much in all 4 years prior. So he can be a guy that can help that team figure out what happened and how they got there last night against Elon.
As a former college coach, I can 100% say when you lose a game, you get everyone's attention.
Oh, yeah.
Much, much easier.
Much easier. I've talked to coaches that have said if you could bottle up that feeling after a loss and just give them a taste of it before every team meeting, you'd have the best team in the country because everybody would be locked in. As number 2, how about number 1?
The one! Goes off his skate. Aho puts it out in front. The score! Jack Roslovic, no hesitation with the extra attacker, and Carolina jumps out to a 1-0 lead.
Canes play tonight against the Flyers. They are riding a 6-game win streak. They are at home. 7 o'clock puck drop. You can hear it right here, 99.9 The Fan. Stormwatch ahead of it at 6:30 with Adam Gold. 10 games is kind of a fun time to play this game. If you would have told me there are 2 players that are leading the team in goals, say, through 10 games, right? And we're going back preseason. There's a world where I would have brought up Martin Necas' name. And I would have said, if you let me pick, it might be Necas. Because I think we all wanted him. We knew there was another level there. We all wanted him to level up. Obviously, we would have said Svech and Jarvis and Aho and a couple others. Roslovic, I'm not sure many of us would have brought him up in the conversation.
No, I thought it'd been like, through 10 games, maybe 2.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, not upset if the number was 2.
No.
He's got 6 goals. Martin Necas, 6 goals. I mean, Necas has been talked about a bunch, but there's been some production from places I wasn't expecting, which has made us maybe not notice that some other guys have started a little slow or some other guys maybe aren't finishing the way we would hope. And that's kind of what a team is, right? That's what the Canes are always going to be. They at least under Rod Brindamore, they're always going to have a little bit more production out of the blue line than you think, which kind of gives the forwards a little bit of leeway, right? It's a little bit of like, well, we could have an off day and Shane Gostisbehere will score for us. Or we can have a day against the Caps where Ovechkin scores and maybe the forwards don't light it up, but Orlov gets 2. Like there's Very much a team aspect of the Canes. Occasionally, and I bring this up all the time, I do want the Stars to just do the Stars thing, right? Occasionally, I do just want Aho to remind everybody Roslovic and I are not the same. And he's not bringing it up to, like, disparage. I'm not saying you say this verbally. I'm saying you go out there and you play a game where you just dominate it from front to back. You score, you're controlling the action, and you remind everybody why you're the all-star year in and year out for the Canes. Tonight against the Flyers, I don't know. I don't know if it's one of those games I'm going to ask for. The Flyers are not particularly good. It is a divisional game, though, so you do kind of want to establish dominance, if you will. Dennis, we'll ask you the question that I ask you quite often ahead of these Canes games. 1 to 10.
Okay.
With 5 being non-division, run-of-the-mill.
Just an average game.
18th best team in the league on a Tuesday night at home or on the road. Like, just medium game. On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a game is this?
I probably, because it's a divisional game, 7.
Okay.
Because being a divisional game, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7, just because the divisional games always just carry a little bit more weight. If this were, let's say, for example, I don't know, let's go with Montreal, I'd probably give it a 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, all right, Montreal's a 5.
That's fair.
But divisional games always get a little tick more, especially now because they're actually starting to play some more divisional opponents.
In that case, I want a moment or two from the 4 guys that I consider the core 4. I want a moment or two. And by the way, Nate we might have to come up with a new word. Core 4, we might need something that rhymes with 5 because core 5 doesn't work as much. But the core 4, at least coming into the year for me, was Aho, Svech, Jarvis, and Slavin. I want one of those 4 to have a couple moments. At least one of those 4 to have a couple moments because it's a little bit bigger game, and I want you to establish dominance, and I want you to let Philly know that just because they're last in the division doesn't mean they're being overlooked. One of those 4 having a big day or a couple moments would go a long way for me. And if it wants to be Natchez, I mean, 5. I'm not going to try to come up with something that rhymes with 5 right out the gate. Could be alliteration, maybe, like the gymnast, Fierce 5, something like that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here with Bailey's Fine Jewelry. And if you head out to Bailey's Fine Jewelry at the Village District location, you're going to have every different kind of timepiece watch that you could possibly want at your disposal. You want a dive watch? They got the original 50 Fathoms from Blancpain. You want a pilot watch? You want a military-inspired watch? They have the luxury editions like Explorers GMTs from Rolex and pre-owned and vintage Rolex section. The Hamilton, obviously military-inspired. The Omegas. You want a iconic watch? Can't get much more iconic than the Speedmaster, right? The Moon watch. It was worn on the moon. It's certified by NASA. It's basically, if you are a big watch fan, if you're a timepiece fan like I am, you could spend a lot of time in Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location, window shopping and picking out what is going to be the next piece to add to your collection. And while you're there, talk to them. There's a bunch of great men and women there that work in the Fox and Bailey watch shop, but they can go over to the Omega Boutique or the Glashute Original case and give you all the information. They answer all the questions you have, so you know exactly what you're buying and exactly what you're putting on your wrist. Check it all out. It's at Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location. You might see me there. I feel like I've been there a lot recently. And if you do, say hi. And if I'm not there, let them know that I told you to go there. It's all at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Village District location in Raleigh. We need some numbers game contestants. We have a $25 gift card to Amedio's Italian restaurant. That's 60 years of tradition and family recipes, and we want to give it to somebody who wins the numbers game. We need 2 contestants, so call in if you want to play. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Numbers game coming up next.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Natchez heads up. Back to Orlov. He scores! A 1-2 punch from Dmitry Orlov. It's 3-2 on Orlov, second of the game.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Back to Slavin. He shot right on. Rebounds out in front. Chance up front. They score!
exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan.
Who's ready for some football? Celebrate the season with award-winning wings and ice-cold pints at Carolina Ale House. With wall-to-wall TVs, Carolina Ale House is the go-to spot for every game. From Honey Buffalo to 5 Alarm to Carolina Barbecue, we've got wing sauces for all flavors. If you're feeling hungry, don't forget about our brisket French dip or Philly cheesesteak. Grab a front row seat, sip on your favorite beer, and watch your squad with us. Carolina Ale House. Ale yeah.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Creighton Blackwell here from Coastal Credit Union and 99 The Fan. And it is time for our Scholar Athlete of the Month. Today, we are here at Willow Springs High School, and we're here to celebrate Ansley Ayers.
She's really encouraging and will make sure that you're comfortable with whatever you're doing, and I never have a bad time when I'm around her.
Her energy is always very uplifting at practice and competitions.
Last year we won a state championship. You know, she was there in the corner again, hyping everybody up, just giving them just some words of wisdom before they hit the mat.
Ansley is an amazing athlete. She's a leader on the team and a great student. Love having her in class, and she's really good and represents the school well.
I'm really happy to represent Willow Spring. Both my parents have been there for me since day one, and my sisters too. They've always been supporting me, and I couldn't have done it without them. And my teammates are always just constantly bringing up my attitude and helping me stay positive through everything, no matter how busy or stressful it can get.
Congratulations, Ansley.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Tedeschi Trucks Band, Deuces Wild Tour 2024. 2 nights, November 7th and 8th. Raleigh Memorial Auditorium at Martin Marietta Center for the Performing Arts. Tedeschi Trucks Band, one of the best live acts on the road today. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Don't miss Tedeschi Trucks Band, Deuces Wild Tour 2024. Presented by Live Nation.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have our contestants on the line. It is Sal from Morrisville and Casey from Wake Forest. They'll be battling it out for an Emilio's $25 gift card. As always, we have to start with a question to see who gets to go first. Sal in Morrisville, you're on line 1, so you'll get to answer first. The question is, now that Halloween is in the rearview mirror, when is the right time to put up Christmas decorations? Too early, too late? I can tell you, my family already has the inside decorations up. Is that too early? When's the right time to put up Christmas decorations?
The day after Thanksgiving.
Day after Thanksgiving. Dennis, is that enough info? Do you have any follow-ups?
Nope, no follow-up.
All right, that brings us to Casey in Wake Forest. Casey, when is the right time to put up Christmas decorations?
I'm like you. If you ask my wife, it was the day after Halloween. But I think that Thanksgiving weekend is always the right time.
All right. Dennis, those are the two answers. I like that Casey aligned with me, but that's up to you.
They gave a similar time, so I got to go Sal and Mooresville. Like, the day after Thanksgiving to me is basically Thanksgiving weekend. So to me, that's basically kind of like the same answer. For me, it's always December 1st.
Interesting.
December 1.
Do you have them down by January 1?
No, I usually leave it up for a few days after January.
All right.
I'm moving at the end of the year, so things might be a little
if you walked in my house right now, I guarantee.
Players not born in the U.S.
All right, these are all players, as the category implies, not born in the United States. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, I'm good.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Robert Griffin III, Washington Redskins.
11.
Incorrect. Gus Edwards, Los Angeles Chargers.
35.
Incorrect. Robert Griffin III, Washington Redskins.
1.
Incorrect. Gus Edwards, Los Angeles Chargers.
36.
Incorrect. Robert Griffin III, Washington Redskins.
3.
Incorrect. Gus Edwards, Los Angeles Chargers.
38.
Incorrect. Robert Griffin III, Washington Redskins.
4.
Incorrect. Gus Edwards, Los Angeles Chargers.
39.
Incorrect. Robert Griffin III, Washington Redskins.
8.
You danced around Robert Griffin, RG3. Gus Edwards, you were kind of not in the right ballpark. RG3 wore number 10 with Washington and was born in Okinawa, Japan, just so you know. Gus Edwards with the Chargers wore number 4, which was ironically one of your guesses for RG3. And he was born in Liberia. So you got an offer. However, by way of your answer earlier and going first, you are still alive for the prize. You just have to hope for a double offer.
Yeah, 2 offers. That's terrible. 2 days in a row. Horrible.
At least you said it, not me, Sal. We'll go ahead and jump over. And
Look like his guy Daniel Jones out there.
Yeah. Sal is brutal to Daniel Jones, for those of you that don't know. Casey and Wake Forest, are you there?
I am.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL Week 9 game leaders, baseball, 2024 Dodgers and Yankees only, or NHL Hurricanes only.
I'll do the NFL Week 9 leaders.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You need at least one for the win. Do you have any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Alvin Kamara, New Orleans Saints.
41.
Correct. Geno Smith, Seattle Seahawks.
7.
Correct. Quentin Johnston, Los Angeles Chargers.
15.
Incorrect. Jaden Reed, Green Bay Packers.
11.
Correct. Rome Odunze, Chicago Bears.
2. No.
Incorrect. Quentin Johnston, Los Angeles Chargers.
81.
Incorrect. Rome Odunze, Chicago Bears.
11.
Incorrect. Quentin Johnston, Los Angeles Chargers. That was a weird way to say Los Angeles the second time there. You got 3. That's enough for the win. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The 2 you missed, Quentin Johnston with the Chargers wears number 1. He's having a bit of a bounce back year after some really wrote him off last year. And Rome Odunze, rookie year with the Bears, wears number 15. But you did get Kamara, you did get Geno Smith, you did get Jaden Reed. That's enough for the win. So you get the Amedios $25 gift card. Once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead and stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to get from you to make sure you get your prize. This is disgusting, but I like anytime we get to the NFL, if there's a player that has ever been on my fantasy team, 0% chance I'm missing it. And I don't even know if I want to say out loud, I am in 6 fantasy football leagues this year. So there's a good chance. I'm like, oh yeah, I drafted Quentin Johnston last year. I know exactly what number he is. It's just brutal how that game can completely corrupt the way you watch sports. But with that being said, Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson are going to have a big night on Thursday night, right? Big night. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial Advisory Group. Sometimes it all comes down to the coach. Who's calling the plays? Or more importantly, who's advising you, right? Who's giving you the game plan? Coach Pete over at Capital Financial Advisory Group wants to make sure you have the game plan that you need for your retirement. And like game plans, like coaches, you got to change it up. And what I mean by that is not anything new or crazy, although innovation is always welcomed, but it's different for each opponent or different for each team that you coach. If you coach and you have a quarterback that can run, you need plays that take advantage of them running. If you coach and you have a pocket passer, you need plays that take advantage of them as a pocket passer. Coach Pete does the same for your financial situation. If he is advising you and you are somebody that has a whole bunch of kids and you want to take care of them all, well, let's see what you have to do to make that happen. If you're somebody who has been putting away a ton of money forever and ever, all right, let's see what you're invested in, how much risk is there, right? Everyone's situation is different. My financial needs are different than your financial needs. Your neighbor's lifestyle is different than your lifestyle, and on and on and on and on. Coach Pete and Capital Financial completely customized their retirement plans, so you don't just have the boilerplate. You don't just have the, hey, cross out your name, write in a new name, and there you go. There's your retirement plan. Nobody wants that because all of our needs, wants, and desires are different. Coach Pete and his team at Capital Financial develop a total and customized retirement plan so you can secure and maintain both confidence and control of your finances. He's committed to helping you retire like a champion, getting you through the financial red zone, over the goal line, and into that retirement end zone. Give him a call right now at 800-691-3215. Say you heard about it from Tim on 99.9 The Fan, and not only will you get that complete and total retirement plan, you'll also get hooked up with a 7 Baby Steps box set, Coach Pete's 7 Baby Steps box set for free. The number to call, 800-691-3215. That's 800-691-3215, or you can just text my name, Tim, to 600-700. That's text Tim to 600-700. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it is a hockey night in Carolina, which means we got to get you set for the Flyers coming to Club Lenovo to face off against the Carolina Hurricanes right here on 99.9 The Fan later tonight. Canes Flyers preview next.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season, and that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Is your plumbing outdated or just not getting the job done? Call Newcomb & Company to see how we can help get your home operating at peak performance. Our experienced plumbers can repair or replace faucets, toilets, piping, garbage disposals, water heaters, drain cleaning, and more. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company. Your comfort is our business.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-386-9945. 800-386-9945. 800-386-9945.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers' rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-509-TERM. 866-509-TERM. 866-509-TERM.
Oh, the NBA is back, and FanDuel is America's #1 sports book for a reason, because they want you to catch all the action. And right now, FanDuel giving everyone 3 months of NBA League Pass All you got to do to catch every tip-off, every buzzer beater, every dunk is place any $5 wager on the NBA and get 3 months of NBA League Pass, courtesy of FanDuel and me. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold and make every moment more this season with FanDuel. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Make every moment more. FanDuel is the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. After 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
This hour of the drive brought to you by Zero Res. This holiday season, Zero Res is hosting a food drive. When you get 3 rooms cleaned and donate non-perishable food, they'll clean a 4th room for free. Visit ZeroResRaleigh.com. Again, ZeroResRaleigh.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a hockey night in Carolina here on The Fan. Canes will be hosting the Flyers, 7 o'clock right here on 99.9. Stormwatch with Adam Gold, 6:30. So we are bearing down on getting things started between the Canes and the Flyers. The Canes they've accelerated things. What I mean by that is I was expecting going into the 11th game of the year for the Canes to still be in the by any means necessary phase, right? Just, hey, get wins. I don't care how, I don't care why, right? You got to establish yourself as one of the top teams in your division, in your conference. Just get a win. But when you start 8-2 and you are near the league leaders and a bunch of stats that matter, we can jump to the next step, right? You put it this way. They've kind of like tested out of Algebra 1, so now they get to go straight to Algebra 2. The next test, the Algebra 2 test, don't play with your food. Right? It's all right. You win 8 out of 10 to start. Cool. You've proven you can win. You do the little things right. You have been good on special teams. You have a goalie that you trust. The new guys are assimilated quickly. Which, by the way, is not something that always happens with the Canes, right? They play a system that is not always the easiest to jump into. So sometimes new guys need 15 to 20 games to really feel natural. That haven't really needed that this year. They've kind of felt natural from the beginning. So now, when you're playing a team that you should have overmatched, don't play with your food, right? Don't win this one with a overtime goal is what I'm getting at, right? Don't win this one after going down 2-0 and having to come back. Dominate from the jump. 7-game win streak. Make it happen. You're riding the 6-game win streak. You have the worst team in the division through roughly a little less than first month, 3 weeks. You have the worst team in your division to face. Philly is dead last in the Eastern Conference up to this point, which obviously means dead last in the Metropolitan. This is a business night for the Canes. Show up, do your work, punch in, punch the clock, have some fun, punch out, go home. This is the discrepancy that I'm pointing out here. We'll go Carolina versus Philly in goals scored per game. Carolina, 5th best in the league. Philadelphia, 27th best in the league. All right, what about the other side? What about goals allowed per game? Well, Carolina, 2nd fewest goals allowed per game in the league. Philadelphia,
that tracks.
True. Philadelphia, 28th fewest goals allowed per game. Don't play with your food. It's a Tuesday night. You're playing a team that's last in the division. Even if they were better, it's not like Philly's your biggest rival in the division. Not saying they aren't a division rival. I'm just saying, there's levels to this. There's a team out there. I'm not going to say the Canes, but there's teams out there across all sports that tonight they start slow. Because It's the third game at home. You seem to have things going well. Somebody else will score.
Daylight savings.
Yeah, exactly. It's dark out. It was dark when I got to the arena at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's like all that adding up. It's a test, right? It's algebra 2. Because if you were 5-5 through your first 10, new guys working your way into it. If you were 6-4 through your first 10, with Aho having to be heroic at times, they might look at this and say, no, you know what? If you win, I don't care how you get it done. This team's, they've been better than that through this. The Canes have. I want this to be, 3-0. I want this to be, one goal a period. Or one goal every 10 minutes. I want it to be methodical. I want you to be the better team on the ice the entire time. I don't want to have, and this is always what I just feel like this is always how it goes when I talk with Adam Gold. I don't want him to have the one period that he singles out. I thought they were good in the first and third, just that second.
Oh, so you mean the St. Louis game?
The St. Louis game. Or sometimes it's, hey, they played great in the first two. That third period, almost they had to hang on. Like, I want it to be a complete game. I want them to show that Philly is not on their level right now. Now, I'm expecting Natchez to make it happen because, bet the streak, right? If somebody's going to keep doing it, let him keep doing it. He's hot right now. Who else? Is this the game Aho breaks out? Right? He's been having good chances. I think he's been playing well, but he hasn't really had, that Aho breakout game yet. Is it a game Svetch goes nuts? Is it a game Seth Jarvis has us all, feeling like little brothers, right? Like little siblings out there just having a good time because he's scoring and making life miserable for the other team? I don't know. Is it a blue line game? I don't know. But somebody better win. Could it be Gostisbehere? That'd be interesting. And you know what? I'm gonna say this also. Weirdly, the Flyers do one thing pretty well.
What's that?
Kill penalties.
Yeah, they do.
So
John Tortorella staple.
Yeah, true. But so it might have to be even strength, right? And I think the Canes could use some of that. 88.4% they kill penalties. By the way, 4th in the league.
Pretty good at it.
So maybe it's a shorty. Ooh, do we have a shorty yet this year?
I don't think we do. Let's get a shorty.
Yeah, I kind of want one now. Now that I've
there's
said
our
that,
goal today.
Now that I've said that out loud, I kind of want one.
I feel like this is a game where sometimes we've seen Carolina in the past. Just it's human nature, I think, is that when you're playing a team that is a little bit inferior to you, you tend to try like, ooh, I could maybe try a little something special here. Get a little too cute with it, and then all of a sudden, why am I down 2-1? And actually, that's sometimes where bad habits kick in. It's like, no, like just keep playing your game.
And actually, I'm going to say this about Martin Natchez. I think that's been one of the things he's done better this year. Is he's going A to B. And I'm talking about like from where he is to the right play. Where in years past, because he is so talented, occasionally it's been A to Q to T to V because he's, hey, I got all these tricks in my bag. Let me break some of these out. Let me show you what I can do. But this year it's been very much like I have them if I need them. But I'm not breaking them out just for no reason. So you're right. I think Jackson Blake has a little bit of that in him, which I think young guys just kind of do. A little bit of like, look what I can do. My 3.5-year-old, my son, is definitely in that right now. Dad, watch this. Jumps in the air and flails around a little bit. Dad, watch this. Makes a funny face. And it's just, Dad, watch this for 15 times, and all of it's just flailing. The young guys might have a little bit of that, but you can't, right? It's the right play. It's make the right move. Don't play with your food. It all kind of comes back down to that. And even if it works, right? Not it could be awesome. It could be a highlight. Don't get me wrong. But could you have done it without so much wasted energy? Kind of that kind of question hitting. And by the way, I'm not sitting here and saying Philly is the worst team in the history of the world. Like I said, they do some things right. It's just the way the Canes are playing and the way Philly is playing, there should be a discrepancy in form coming into this game. And when you have that kind of advantage, you don't want to give it back. One of the things I'm really stuck on this year is the Canes are not a get-right game. If you're playing bad, the last team you should want to see on your schedule is the Carolina Hurricanes. because their skating is lightning this year. They've gotten faster, so you're not going to get a chance to catch your breath if things start going wrong. And it always comes back to that style they play. It's exhausting, and you're going to have to work so hard against them. If you're in a little bit of a downturn, if you're in a little bit of a struggle, you don't want to see Carolina, especially at home, which obviously tonight's game is at home. We had our first goal scorer predictions earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis, you picked Chatfield. I picked
Chatfield in the first.
Martinook in the first.
Okay. Maybe he gets a shorty. The thing we talked about.
I would love that.
That'd be awesome.
There are 4 players that haven't scored a goal.
Who's that?
Slavin.
Yep.
Burns.
Okay.
Chatfield. Martinook.
Okay. So
Rank them.
They're all due.
Rank them in order of who scores most likely to score today. Because those are the 4. That's where I started for my first goal scorer prediction earlier. I started with it feels like somebody's going to get off the schneid. Then I looked at who was on a schneid, and those 4 all haven't scored yet. Chatfield's been taking some shots recently, as the kind of everyone on the blue line has been getting their opportunities. I went with Martinook because forward seems like the easy answer there. But Burns, you know what he can do, and Slavin. Maybe he doesn't score a ton of goals, but I don't know. It feels like if he wanted to, he could. Rank them 1 through 4, most likely to score tonight.
I'd probably say Brent Burns 1.
Okay.
Martinook 2.
Hilarious that you start with neither of our choice.
I know.
For first
I was
goal
like,
scorers.
exactly. Burns 1, Martinook 2. I'll probably say Chatfield 3, then actually Slavin 4.
I'm kind of right with
Slavin's just steady Eddie back there.
It is weird that the Burns-Slavin pairing, some advanced analytics have, maybe they haven't been off to the best start.
No.
But hey, I have a feeling they'll be all right.
Go
ahead.
Oh, I would say I was going to switch gears real fast. We're probably going to find out didn't have a really good start, or who's had a bad start. This is ACC, when the college football rankings come out tonight.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
7:00.
Yeah. Thanks, Clemson, for losing to Louisville.
Yeah, thanks, Louisville. What are you doing?
Yeah, seriously.
Take one for the team, Louisville.
Actually, you know what? Take that, Clemson. You don't deserve it.
I hate it, but Clemson.
Yeah, I know.
It's tough. SMU, are we suddenly an SMU team now?
I think we were on that bandwagon.
Or we're rooting for SMU, and their 6 turnovers against Duke and still winning the game somehow. That comes out at 7, so we'll react to that tomorrow on the show. Obviously, pretty safe that Miami will be top 4. Other than that, I don't know if the ACC is going to be in the mix, which is kind of a big bummer.
SMU has the second best record in the conference. They have Boston College, Virginia, and Cal left.
They could win out.
They could win out, be 11-1.
Then it becomes, I think, a beauty contest in the ACC championship game. If they lose to Miami, what does it look like?
Yeah.
That's the difference between 10th and being one of the lower seeds and 14th and being one of the first snubs. Gosh, what are you doing to us, ACC? Overdrive is coming up next. Jonathan Mingo was traded earlier today from the Panthers to the Cowboys. We reacted to that earlier. That's going to start off Overdrive. And then Cooper Flagg debuted last night for Duke, and we'll have that in Overdrive. And then the action will really start. Stormwatch at 6:30 with Adam Gold. Hockey night in Carolina, that game we were just talking about, Canes and Flyers at 7. Enjoy it. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
The Blue Devils up 21-20, and they got their arms reaching for that